Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
Grumpy, how are you doing this fine Wednesday evening?
Tired, have a headache.
Oh, man.
It's been a stressful day.
It's been a stressful day.
Stressful week so far.
Oh, good. Great. Is that because of the Islanders, Grumpy? What's made your week stressful? Has been watching the Islanders as a full-time job?
External events have led
okay.
to stress in my life.
Oh, that's never fun, Grump.
It's not.
But here we are again, as always, on this Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What time? What time?
We probably started around 8:30.
There you go.
Maybe around 8:30 we started today. But for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. This is a twice a week All Islanders podcast that takes place every Wednesday and Saturday around 8 p.m.
Around 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you who are new to the channel, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. Those are the very, very important things you got to do. And also, if you like this content, the best way to let us know is by leaving a thumbs up. It apparently helps the algorithm, and it gets mine and the grumpy old man's words out to the masses.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
There it is. There it is, Grump. Well, we're coming to you guys, as I mentioned earlier, live Wednesday. Islanders almost had some fantastic late game heroics to seal a victory yesterday against the struggling St. Louis Blues, but came up just short, Grumpy. What did you think about that St. Louis game?
Well, since we last had our Islanders Never Say Die podcast on Saturday night, they easily dispatched with the woeful Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, they're bad.
Yeah.
They're really freaking bad. And then St. Louis, who'd lost 6 of 7, comes out and puts a 7 spot on us. I mean, a couple empty netters, but hey, if they count for Brock Nelson and Anders Lee, I guess you got to count them for St. Louis as well, right?
I guess so, Grumpy. I guess you're right.
I mean, but we didn't play well. I mean, and Sorokin did not have a great game.
He's been spectacular pretty much every start he's had this year. So, I'm not expecting him to look like he's gonna be, first ballot Hall of Famer every night.
I feel like I jinxed him though.
How so?
Because the last podcast I said, there's going to be a game where he comes out and doesn't play well. He's going to throw a stinker in there every once in a while. And sure enough, last night was a stinker. I mean, the little flutter goal that made it 5-1, that's just not something he does. A little deflection. And who's the guy who did in the Mighty Ducks had the little knuckle puck? Because that's what it kind of looked like.
Colton. He had the big hard. It was Colton who had the slap shot, right?
That was Fulton.
Fulton. Okay, fair enough. I was
with
close.
The slap shot, put 1 out of 5 on net. But the other kid had the knuckle puck. I don't remember who it was. Who's the kid who had the knuckle puck? But that's what that puck looked like. And he's got – it's tough for him. He can't miss that.
Oh, Keenan Thompson.
That's him, the guy who's on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He had the knuckle puck. The knuckle puck.
Yeah.
Keenan Thompson, Grumpy. But you felt like you jinxed.
I think that was trick photography. Because I don't think that kid's got a speck of athletic ability at all.
I like him. I like Keenan Thompson. I think he's funny. But I want to talk a little bit about the games of what we saw. I think yesterday we did not look good for about 40 minutes of action. We played decent hockey, but not at to the standard of what we kind of expect. And the third period, just like every third period this year, we have a huge Herculean effort in the third period. We come back. We were down 5-1 at one point, and we cut the lead, to 5-4?
Yeah. I can't listen to Butch anymore.
Yep.
And they were up 5-1, and it was 5-2. And all of a sudden, Martin just kind of throws a puck towards the net. Fashing gets a little deflection, looked like it could have been over the crossbar. It was close. He gets a goal. Then 18 seconds later, Pajot skating behind the net, bounces it off of Robert Thomas's skate into the net. And I'm thinking, holy crap, down 5-1, we're going to come back and win this game.
Yeah.
Then, they get a couple empty netters. And then Butch says, well, that little deflection, what the difference of that game was? It was that save that Sorokin didn't make.
Oh, my God.
If he would have made that save, it would have been 4-4. And then, who knows what would have happened. I'm like, okay, dude, you just got 2 lucky goals within 18 seconds of one another. And you're going to complain about a lucky goal that St. Louis got? Stop. Please stop.
Did Butchie's short-term amnesia kick in where he forgot that we had our goalie pulled with like 7 minutes left to play because we were down so many goals?
It was 5 minutes and 10 seconds.
I'm sorry, 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you for the correction.
And we scored on that. But here's the thing.
I was going to say, we scored immediately as soon as we pulled our goalie. We would not have pulled our goalie at that point. It still would have been a 1-goal deficit. That's what I'm saying. Did he forget we wouldn't have pulled our goalie if it was a 1-point game or a 1-goal game with 5 minutes left?
It doesn't matter. Like I said, when you say Sorokin not making 1 save is what cost the Islanders the game. No, I'm sorry. We got 2 lucky goals within 18 seconds of one another. Stop. Just stop it. We didn't deserve to win. I thought we, again, play so well in spurts where it's just like we're saving up energy, and then we're fire hosing it on the ice at certain times. And, it's been beneficial and good for us this year.
Yeah.
7 goals to St. Louis. 7. Thomas Greiss was in net. And I'm telling you, he looked like he was flopping all over the place. Pucks just hitting him. Weaky here, there. I mean, Thomas freaking Greiss. You got beat by Thomas Greiss.
Trust me, Thomas Greiss. I watched it last night. Again, Sorokin didn't have a great night, but Jesus, that wrister he let in from beyond the dart, from beyond the dot, unimpeded. He had complete vision of the shot, complete vision of the puck, and he just missed it glove side against Parise. I was like, yikes. I was like, yeah. Thomas Greiss. I was like, oof, how the mighty have, wow, how that 1 or 2 years worth of really good hockey has just fallen off the face of the earth.
How the slightly above average have fallen.
Yeah, how the slightly above average have fallen. I like that one. We talk about not Sorokin's best game. I don't expect him to struggle or go through any struggles. Just one game. You have one-offs like that. But I think the most important takeaway from last. I'll let you get a comment in because I think there's one big takeaway from last night.
And St. Louis, I mean, there were times they did nothing out there, and they just bing bang boom. Score, goal. 1 turn. I thought Romanov was horrible last night.
He's okay. And this is the thing. People are going to hate when I say this. Phil's Facts has been sending me, oh, look at his number. Look at this. Look at that. Goals expected for, goals expected against. I just watched him last night. I watched specifically Romanov out of position, just getting undressed on a consistent basis. It was not pretty. Not pretty at all.
I told everyone a couple of weeks ago, that's my issue with him. It's his lack of defensive awareness and positioning. You can't. That's why he was separated from Dobson, because he needed to be better defensively. Sebastian Aho at least is positionally better defensively than Romanov. Is he a better defensive defenseman? No, he's not. But he's better positionally. But Romanov's like, that's why they put him with Mayfield. Mayfield is 95% in the right spot at the right time. Romanov, like I said, it's like he's a chicken with his head cut off. I'm going to run everybody who comes in. I'm going to block every shot. Well, yesterday they come in a 2-on-1, and what's the cardinal sin? You want to take away the pass, let the goaltender take away the shot. He didn't do either, honestly. He kind of half-assed doing one and the other, and it led to a goal.
That's what I was about to say. That's always the thing you're supposed to do when you got a 2-on-1 coming your direction. You must. It's imperative. Take the pass away so the goalie takes on the shooter. It's that simple, right? You can't take the shot. He hits the pass, and the goalie's got to go ahead and go cross body, try to make a sprawling save. You have got to take away that passing lane. He does absolutely neither. Does not take the passing lane away, and it makes it an easy tap in goal. And you're just kind of like, ugh.
If he just would have taken away that pass. The guy, and I don't remember who it was, the guy who was streaking down the wing was almost he had the puck in a bad spot because he was too deep to get a legitimate shot on goal, and Romanov played it into a goal. Terrible. He was bad. You want to know who else has been really bad? Captain Average.
Ooh, Captain Average.
He makes me want to vomit on myself watching him play.
Well,
and you know who else is bad? Simon, a.k.a. Casper Holmstrom.
Well, no, okay, you can't have you jumping too far ahead, because I do want to talk about that, because the analytics crowd is very happy with what they've seen from Simon Holmstrom. We'll talk about that. I think he's a bottom 6 guy, but we'll talk a little bit about his production. I want to get back to what I thought what the biggest takeaway from yesterday was. Adam Pelech concussed, quite obviously, and you wonder how long it's going to take him to come back from a concussion like this. If I'm grading the severity of this, it's up there, right? This is not like one of those to where you miss a week of action and I feel like you're back into the lineup. I mean, like, you'll watch him skate off or attempt to glide off the ice, and you could tell this, I think, was one of the turning points here to what caused the Islanders to have that comeback, or that mini comeback. We were down 5-1 at this point. This big hit, I think, is what forced the Islanders to kind of wake up a bit.
Well, for me, this scene showed me a couple of things. Like I said. You wonder, this is not a good time for Adam Pelech to get injured.
No, it's not.
And we finally found out what Josh Bailey does for this team, what he contributes. He is associate stick boy when somebody gets injured. You can see him walking. He's supposed to hold on to the guy, but he can't even do that. It's like, Bailey, you suck on so many levels. It's scary. You got him. I'm surprised. Thank goodness the referee was there to hold him up. I mean, he's on
He was falling when he was getting up. And here's the thing. That's one of those to where I worry he's going to miss some time.
And it's at a bad point in time for us, because now we're going into the difficult portion of our schedule. The next 9-10 games are very difficult, with the exception of 2. And he's going to be a big loss, even though I think he's taken a little bit of step back this year. Adam Pelech is a huge loss for us on the defensive end. What did the Islanders do? TJ, what do you think?
Well, it's going to be Robin Salo if they call up. So, like, we talk about this hard schedule, this hard point in the schedule, and it's unfortunate, right? You're going to have Robin Salo getting his real first meaningful minutes here this year against the hardest portion of our schedule, against the Devils, against the Bruins, against all these top-notch juggernaut-style teams. And you know what's going to happen is all these people, the analytics crowd, are going to be like, well, if you look at Robin Salo, his numbers in goals for and goals against weren't very good. Yeah, we forgot to look at that. The fact that he played Boston, the fact that he's going to be playing against the Devils, he's playing against a really, really tough portion of the schedule. And like we talk about Adam Pelech here, man, oh man, you hate to see it, first off, because, anytime anybody goes down injured to the Islanders, you don't want to see that, or any sport. But I mean, it looks like one of these where he might be missing, again, a substantial time, at least more than a week. He obviously wasn't out there practicing today. Who knows how long it's going to be until he starts to resume practice again.
Yeah. I mean, a huge loss for us. Huge loss. Our best defensive defenseman.
And
I mean,
that's what I was about to say. Our best defensive defenseman. So our core is going to be, right? We look at it, Pulak. Mayfield's going to be our new best defensive defenseman over this time period. I'd say, you go Pulak. I'd say, I mean, Dobson and Romanoff, I think, are kind of
Dobson's better than Romanoff
I'm
defensively.
talking on the defensive side of the puck.
Dobson's better than Romanoff.
Okay. They both are not, I don't think they excel on the defensive side of the puck. Is the big topic of point there for me. And here's the thing. Aho and Salo are not great defensively. So you're going to have a few guys who are not great defensively that are going to be playing every single night against top tier competition.
I think you're going to see a lot of mixing and matching from Lane Lambert. I think you're going to see Dobson get a lot more minutes, Pulak get a lot more minutes, and Mayfield get a lot more minutes. Unfortunately, they're all right shot defensemen, all three of them. So it's like Romanov's probably going to get more time, for better or worse. Aho's going to get more time, and Salo's probably going to get the least amount of time. I'm interested to see how he plays. Maybe they call up Bolduc. Who knows? But I'm interested to see how Salo looks in his next stint up from the minors.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. We had this huge lead. All these people love talking about this huge lead we had in the standings. Our division and our conference is so unbelievably stout. Just like that, we went from, hey, remember, we were first in the division not too long ago. Now we're fourth in the division. You know what I mean? That's why you can't all get fixated on where we are in the division, where we are in the conference. It's just, you have to win games. You have to put up points. You got to beat the teams you're expected to beat. That St. Louis game is a game that, man, that was the third game in a row that we have played a team that's on the second end of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
Think about that. Let that sink in.
And we lost 2 to 3.
We lost 2 out of those 3 games. I would not have expected that go. I really thought we were going 2-1 over that 3-game stretch.
Playing backup goalies.
Yeah.
We're playing the backup goalie.
I was about to say, right? We played, it was Nashville always beats us, but Nashville, we play a backup goalie who looks like Dominic Hasek out there on the ice. They were on the back end of a back-to-back. We were rested. Then we play the Chicago Blackhawks. They're on a back end of a back-to-back scenario. We're rested. Then we play the St. Louis Blues. Again, they're in on the back end of a back-to-back situation. We're rested. You really you got to take advantage and win those games when you have the scheduling advantage. You're at home, things like that. You got to take advantage of. All 3 of those are home games too.
Yeah. And now we go on a road trip.
Yeah. A road trip against really tough opponents. And that's what we've said. No matter what happens on the road trip, I think we are an above average team. That's it. I'm sorry, Grumpy. Go ahead.
There's a couple of games that we have to win. I think we're probably going to win more than 2 or 3 games.
Yes.
In this next 9. I think we will. But what if we don't? What if we come out 2-7? I mean, the Rangers are only that as bad as the Rangers have played, and I mean they're bad. I think Gallant is better start watching out for his job.
He's on
they're going to lose to the Devils, and they're going to lose to the Hurricanes, and they're going to lose to the Bruins. Those are just teams we do not match up with. Then what's it going to be like if the Islanders are 16-14? What do you think?
Hold on. Go back to the Rangers real quick. You talked about the Rangers have played so poor. The Rangers are only 3 points behind us.
Yeah.
Let that shit sink in. The Rangers are 3 points behind us.
I said that we had to come out of that, what was an 8-game, I guess maybe it was a 9 or 9
It was even a 9-game stretch. We needed to come out with 6 wins, maybe we said 6-2, but I mean, like hell. I mean, like, even if it was 6-3, we came out with a 4-5 record.
Not good enough. Not good enough.
Subquality opponents.
And you remember the reason why I said we need to build up a little bit of a point lead before we went against these tough teams.
On the road, might I add.
Because now and playoffs are still so far away. But still, the margins are razor thin with how competitive. Tampa and Detroit are 1 point behind us. Pittsburgh, who was practically in the basement 3 weeks ago, is now ahead of us in the standings just because of a game in hand.
Tampa and Detroit both have 2 games over us right now, right?
2 games in hand.
2 games in hand. I'm sorry. If they were if they come away with 2 points over those 2 games or come away with 1 point, we're 8th 8th in the conference. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's early in the season. You see a lot of jockeying. I just thought we had a chance during a really soft part of our schedule to really make some headway. And I don't think we've done that. And, you know, it's what do we say? You cannot secure us yourself a spot in the postseason the first way in the first bit of the way through the season. You can't go ahead and secure it. You certainly could go ahead and prevent yourself from making the postseason with a terrible spurt or losing games you should consistently be winning.
True. Can we look at the schedule again?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it not up? Oh,
It's kind of up, but I
do.
only see 2 games in there,
yeah.
really.
My apologies, Grumpy.
But I mean, the Devils, okay. Do you really think we're going to beat the Devils?
I thought the Devils maybe were going to be fighting with us for the last playoff spot.
They're 11 points ahead of us right now.
They've been fantastic. I say you can't secure yourself a spot in the postseason. The Devils being 21-4-1, I would be shocked if they do not make the postseason this year. Shocked.
And for all the analytics geeks in the audience, their analytics numbers look really good too.
Yeah, they're great.
At least that's what I'm told, because as everyone knows, I don't look at that garbage. The eyeball test. Here's the thing. They passed the eyeball test. You want to know who doesn't pass the eyeball test? Us.
We pass the entertainment test. I mean, shit, every third period.
Do.
I just don't, hey, I'm not complaining it continues to happen. I just wonder when it stops.
Well,
every third, even this third period, hell, we almost came back from a 4-goal deficit in the third period.
We have gotten a lot of puck luck this year too.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of puck luck.
Okay, Butchie. But yeah, you start off. Here it is. Friday, the Devils.
Loss.
Maybe it's a win.
That's a loss.
Maybe we beat the Devils.
Wait, are the Devils on a back-to-back, or are they playing 3 out of 4, and that's the fourth one?
No, they're going to get some rest too.
Okay, that's a loss for us.
Okay.
Hurricanes, that's an automatic loss. No doubt about it.
The Hurricanes earlier this year, though.
I know. I don't care.
Okay. And that was
the
Hurricane scenario.
That was the Hurricanes' first game back after a long West Coast swing. They came out flat. Their style is death for us. Just death. And here's the thing. Who were they playing in goal when they came back and played? Sammy Scrub Zone. I mean,
no, the Hurricanes had Frederick Anderson in that.
Oh,
he didn't look great. He didn't look great, though. Yeah, he didn't look great.
Terrible.
But I mean, like,
and then Boston.
Three very tough games.
In Boston. Is that game in Boston?
Yeah, it's in Boston.
Boston just lost their first game at home the other night to the Vegas Golden Knights in overtime. They came back from 2-0 down, put it to overtime, wound up losing in shootout. First loss at home. That's a loss for us. Coyotes, we better pray that we beat the Coyotes.
We better pray that one guy who's a backup netminder's not in there and blanks us again.
They shut us out last time.
That's what I mean.
But I still think we beat the Coyotes. Let's see what we have next on the docket. Golden Knights, that smells like a loss.
Maybe we beat the Golden Knights in overtime. We will beat the Avalanche. The Avalanche with the amount of injuries they had. Now, Lynn McKinnon is out for 4 to 6 weeks additionally.
Yeah.
The Colorado Avalanche are not the same team they were last year. We knew that, but a lot of their star players have missed substantial time. I think we definitely beat the Colorado Avalanche.
Okay. Rangers is a win. That's a win.
We're 2-0 against the Rangers this year, right?
And I think this is the last time we play them this year.
Yeah, we only played them 3 times, I believe.
How disgusting is that? They're like our number one rival, and we play them 3 times when we play crappy Philadelphia and the calamitous Columbus Blue Jackets. We play them 4 times a year. Stop. We should always play the Rangers 4 times a year. Always, every single year.
Christ almighty.
And then Florida. Even though Florida's struggling, they don't seem to struggle against us. The recipe for success against us is team speed.
Yep.
That's what it is.
So, I mean, like, yeah, I think Florida struggled this year, though.
Yeah.
And you wonder, are they going to be right now they're not in the playoff picture. That's a team, right? I mean, Detroit's ahead of them. Tampa's ahead of them. A lot of teams are ahead of them in their own division. So is Boston. So is Toronto. I mean, let me ask you this. The Florida Panthers, if they struggle this year, don't make the postseason, do you have to worry about a head coaching change first year on the job?
They had a head coach and they let him go last year. They bowed to the pressure.
Anyway, but Burnett, we're talking about Burnett.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Quenneville.
Okay. I know. That's
Penguins. Oh, they're on fire.
That's a huge game, that Penguins game. So
Yep.
like there's certain games that are really big games because like the Blue Jackets we're not competing with for a spot. The Rangers, I wouldn't be shocked if you told me the Rangers don't make the postseason this year. I wouldn't be
agree.
shocked with that. I think we're going to be fighting the Rangers probably for our last postseason spot. It's early yet, but that's the way things look. Yikes. The Avalanche, by the way, in case you were wondering, the Avalanche is such a must-win game, Grumpy. I'll show you the injury report on this. It's nuts. When you look at the players that are out for a substantial time period for the Avalanche, I'm going to zoom in here for you. Josh Manson, he's out for a month. Bowen Byram hasn't begun to skate. He's still out. Okay. Darren Helm, bottom 6 guy. Evan Rodriguez, he skated, but bottom 6 guy. Not concerned about that. Valeri Nishutskin, I'm sorry. He's close to his return. Does he return by that game time, right?
I think he will be.
Nathan McKinnon, he's out still. Gabriel Landeskog, out still. We could play the Colorado Avalanche, depending on how Valeri Nishutskin does, without McKinnon, Landeskog, Nishutskin, Bo Byram, and Josh Manson. That is an absolute must-win. That is like what we talk about. Hey, there's no must-win games this early in the season. You cannot lose to a team that is that decimated with injury.
True. And that being said, they're still right now, they're 13-9-1.
Yeah.
So 27 points in 23 games. They will make the playoffs.
I think so too.
Okay. But that's really a game we have to come away and do something with. These are I just can't. We can't come out of here and go 2-6 or 2-7. Cannot do it.
We will not make the postseason if we go 2-6 over a stretch like that. Absolutely not. And again, like we talked with our friends who are Washington fans who do a podcast on the Washington Capitals. The easiest part of the Washington Capitals schedule is upcoming. I know they are 6 points behind us. They are terrible. Think about how many injuries that team has, though. Trust me, it's not going to. They're playing the Flyers tonight. We still, we're even in games played, but I'm like, okay, you got the Flyers, you got the Kraken, you got the Jets, which is a tough team. Blackhawks, Stars are tough. Maple Leafs tough. Red Wings are pretty tough. Ottawa, Jets, Rangers. I mean, like you've got a softer spot of your schedule. They play in a 4-game stretch. The Columbus Blue Jackets twice, the Senators twice. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like you're getting to a softer spot of their schedule. And how does that team look? I've always said you can't count out the silver-haired Fox. They're within striking distance. Yeah. It's this, we've talked about it before. December, whatever date is, December 9th, which I think is Friday, until December 27th will give us, hey, what is the true value and what's the true worth of this team?
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to play the shoe on the other foot game with you.
Okay.
Because let's say it was the Islanders who was 6 points off a playoff spot. What would you be saying right now?
We're in trouble.
We're not making the playoffs. That's what you'd be saying. Guess what? Washington's not making the playoffs.
I think they don't make the playoffs too. I'm just saying, I don't think the Washington Capitals make the playoffs. I think we're going to be fighting with we're going to be fighting with the Rangers. I've said this for months now. The Rangers of last year remind me a lot of the Islanders this year. Really, really poor on our own side of the puck, but for whatever reason, our power plays played well. But our goaltending is unbelievable, and it's the only thing that's keeping us in games. So, I don't expect Sorokin to fall off planet Earth. He's been fantastic this year. I think he's the leader for the Vezina to win that trophy this season. He's been spectacular. So you can ride a hot goalie a long, long way. But the thing I worry about is Adam Pelech out with concussion.
Big loss.
Yeah. Again,
but
so
that loss isn't any greater than what Washington, Colorado,
absolutely not.
All these teams have already faced. So it's like, you're not going to hear me crying over Adam Pelech, just like you're not hearing me crying when, Washington has all those guys out. You just got to overcome and adapt.
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh is without Chris Letang, right? You'd have to say he's a better defenseman than Adam Pelech.
Yeah, I'd say that. All around, I'd say that, yeah.
I mean, and they're still able to win games. I just don't want to hear the narrative being pushed by anybody from the Islanders camp saying, oh, well, injuries is what got us this year. Last year was COVID, and, you know, we had to play so many games away from home. Well, that's not the case this year. You've gotten every single schedule advantage that's happened so far. You're catching so many teams on the back half of back-to-backs. You had a cushy early schedule, a lot of home games. Don't cry about it. And I don't want to hear later in the year, well, look at how many road games we had to play in the end. Well, here's the thing. You play the same amount of road games as you do home games, and you just got to perform on both. If you're not a great road team, you better clean up at home.
Anytime I think about miserable road teams, that my mind immediately goes back to that Carolina Hurricanes team last year in the postseason. With how they couldn't win a damn road game to save their life.
Not a one.
Oh. But, you know, I'll be interested. You know, it's not only Adam Pelech, Grumpy. We're missing very important member, Cal Clutterbuck, and we're missing Kyle Palmieri, Grumpy.
Do you even notice that they're gone?
Well, there's a lot of talk right now. People are very excited about Simon Holmstrom.
He sucks.
I don't think he sucks. I think he's a bottom six guy. I like his.
He's not a bottom six guy. You want to know why? Because he's not aggressive enough to be a bottom six guy. He's not an energy guy. He doesn't go into corners. He's useless. Matter of fact, when Disney on Ice or the Ice Capades comes through, just sell him there. He can skate away from the wall there into the center ice, do little pirouettes, whatever it is that he does. You could play certainly like some evil princess or whatever the heck he'd be, because he's ugly as sin too.
You'll be happy to know Simon Holmstrom, over the 7 games he's played, has, I think, like the highest goals against percentage or lowest, whatever, the best goals against percentage out there, or projected goals against, and one of the highest projected goals for averages out there on the ice, Grumpy. The analytics crowd is in love with Simon Holmstrom. Also, that fashion guy as well. They're in love with him.
They both suck. Simon Holmstrom was given the advantage of playing with Matt Barzal, could not keep up. You figure just by being on that line, he'd at least have a shot on goal or have some points, just because Barzal has been Mr. Everything this year. Nope.
He's been fantastic.
And he's down to the third line, playing with, you know, the devil contingent down there with 38 special and JG Pajot, and still he's not able to keep up. He's just not that good. I'm sorry. Wasted draft pick. Just a wasted draft pick.
Well, Grumpy, you could see right here, regarding our projected expected.
I don't even know what the hell that means. Anything that has, you know, small X's in front, percent signs on the back end, all these stupid little things. You know what they mean to me? Absolutely nothing.
You'll be happy to know he's been so great regarding the time on ice he's been given. He has projected that he was going to score the most projected goals for when he's on the ice. Number 2 on that team, Matt Martin, because everybody knows when Matt Martin steps on the ice, you really got to worry because he's an offensive dynamo. These analytics never lead you wrong. Matt Martin, second best offensive player on the team. Simon Holmstrom right up there too, Grumpy. Like, you know, he's got 3. Simon Holmstrom, I think he's done an admirable job as a third line guy. That's what he is. I think that's what he's going to be. I don't understand why our fan base likes to celebrate bottom 6 players. We felt the need to sign back guys like Cal Clutterbuck, to sign back guys like to sign a huge extension, that 4-year extension for guys like Matt Martin. We didn't need to. We had Simon Holmstrom who could fill the role of one of these bottom 6 forwards. We have so many bottom 6 guys. We don't need to sign back the same bottom 6 shit, the aged bottom 6. We could have just thrown a guy like Holmstrom in.
A 6-year extension for a 30-year-old fourth line center. Stop. You want to know why your team sucks? Dumb moves like that. You want to know why your team sucks? The first time you have a first-round draft pick in forever, you pick a guy like Casper Holmstrom. That's why your team sucks in the long run.
He's the only first-round pick Lou Lamoriello has ever had is Simon Holmstrom. That's
right.
It.
That's right. First year doesn't count because he came in 5 days before the draft. That had nothing to do with Lou Lamoriello. Nothing.
Simon Holmstrom has played 7 games in the NHL. He's played, 5 of them with Matt Barzal, 2 of them on the third line. He has 3 shots in 7 games. Like, I just don't get why we're celebrating him. We're hoisting him up on a pedestal. Oh, Simon Holmstrom, so great. How could you not love what you've seen?
Because here's the thing.
You know what I've seen? bottom 6 guy.
Who says that? I don't know anyone who says that.
All the analytics crowd's been saying this.
They're morons. That's already been an established fact. That's the only reason the geeks watch hockey is because they can't follow the game. They don't know what it is. So they figured, let's give them some type of fancy little stats with, little hieroglyphic symbols in there that stand for who knows what. And we'll just put them out there and say, yeah, this guy's good at that. No, sorry. Do the eyeball test. See what you watch on the ice. Like I said, I watched Casper Holmstrom live and in person, 2 games in the playoffs last year. I've made my determination. I made my determination on draft night. I called him Josh Bailey 2.0. Matter of fact, he's Michael Del Cole light. That's what he's like. He's not even as good as Michael Del Cole was.
Michael Del Cole at least put up points in Bridgeport. That's something Holmstrom has never done.
He sucks. And he's been getting first line. He plays with the best offensive players.
That I don't get. I do not get, oh, well, he's so great in transition. He's a defensive rock out there, the Swedish wall grumpy. That's why they put him on the first line.
What?
They'll balance out all the offense. He's going to be defensively minded. That's why they had to have him out there on the first line.
Like Josh Bailey. They put him with the better players because he sucks so bad. They have to have the goodness kind of balance out the suck. He's terrible. I'm sorry. He's not
very scientific. For those of you who are part of the analytics crowd, that right there is your analytics. He sucks so bad they had to put him on a line of goodness. The balance
just to spread out the suck.
Just to spread out the suck.
That's it. He won't go into a corner. He did the first game.
He did the first game. That's what shocked
First game. All of a sudden, he's got Josh Bailey-itis now. Afraid of the wall. Don't go further than that.
He's afraid of the middle of the ice, I guess.
Terrible.
Here's the thing. I don't dislike Simon Holmstrom. I just don't get the love for him. I don't get the adoration. I don't get the people fawning over this guy, thinking that, oh, he's done such a great job. He's been so fantastic, Grumpy. When you look at all those little numbers, all those goals for, expected goals against, oh, he's done such a great job, Grump. Are you curious as to who he's played at over that time period? He's played a very weak spot of our schedule. We talked about it beforehand. He's played a lot of teams that are not in the playoff picture, and he's doing well against sub-quality teams. You think maybe that has a reason why all of his analytics look so great? Because he plays against bottom tier teams?
He's playing with Matt Barzal. That's why his analytics look good.
He's played 7 games, 2 against Philly, 1 against Columbus, 1 against Chicago, 1 against St. Louis, 1 against Nashville, and 1 against Edmonton. Edmonton's the 8th spot right now in the Western Conference. Every other team is not a playoff team.
They're the only team with the winning record is Edmonton.
Yes.
Well, guess what? Those other teams blow. They suck and they blow. It's a combo. He's not the answer. He has that Josh Bailey feel to it, though. Doesn't he? Where they try to fit him, slide him up, slide him down. Bailey was back on the first line yesterday, if you can imagine that. That human failure was on the first line again. It's take the shittiest player you have, put him with the best player, and even out the suck. That's what it is. That's what they do with crappy players like Holmstrom, Bailey.
Here's the thing. I don't dislike Holmstrom. I think he's a good third line guy.
He's not. Third line guys have to be grinders. You got to get in there in the corners. You got to be good defensively. You can't be out there doing pirouettes.
I like what he does a little bit through transition.
Who's the girl of the Mighty Ducks who would do like little pirouettes and then maybe tap a puck in the net? That's who he is. I don't know her name. Her brother was on the team too.
Connie,
except maybe? He can't score.
Connie? Oh, damn. There's so many of these Mighty Ducks. I don't know. Sorry. Julie Gaffney. Julie is her name.
Yeah. Julie is better than him. Here's the thing. I don't hate him. He's just not any good. If he's the best prospect we have, we're in trouble. We're in even more trouble than I thought we were. Why not give Ratu a shot?
You think about disillusioned fans. I swear to God, you really have to do some creative calculations and some creative accounting to get to a spot where you could say, yes, the guy who has played 7 games at 21 years old in the NHL, who has 1 assist in 3 shots, he's fantastic. Let's celebrate him. I just, sorry. No, all these expected goals for against. Great to see. All that matters is if you put the puck in the net, right? If you're playing on the top line, put the puck in the net. If you're not doing that, you're not serving the role of a top 6 player.
How many games did it take for him to have a shot on goal?
It took five games, I believe.
Okay. That's Josh Bailey like. It's scary how I tagged him Josh Bailey 2.0 on draft night, and that's just been the miserable that he's been. That's what he's been. This is what Josh Bailey would have been if you sent him 3 years in the minors instead of playing him with the big team to start. He would have been just like this, coming up and just be another piece of trash. They should say, why is he getting number 10? Why isn't he getting a number like, I don't know, 68, 52?
It's because it's Lou Lamoriello. High numbers. They don't like high numbers, right?
He doesn't deserve a 10. That's an insult to anyone who's ever won the number 10, ever, in any sport.
D-Cut saying Julie was the goalie, TJ. Julie the cat. Thank you. And so did Matthew S.
No, it was Goldberg was the goalie.
I don't know. Maybe it was a different one. I don't really remember, Grumpy.
It was the girl who did the and then she taps the puck in. So everybody stares at her doing the little, the little whatever.
How do you do that, Grumpy?
The pirouette. She did the little like the Dorothy Hamill thing.
Oh, not on that.
You know who Dorothy Hamill is?
No idea.
Figures.
But
She's a figure skating champion. Back in 1976.
That doesn't not tickle my fancy at all. But like, I don't understand. People want to use a 7-game sample size, the analytics crowd, and say, well, this is going to indicate what we're going to see over an 82-game spread. He played, again, I'm going to remind you of the teams. I said earlier, Philly twice, Columbus once. You're looking at it again, continue. St. Louis once, Nashville once. And again, these are not the St. Louis and Nashville of last year. They're both not in the playoffs right now.
No.
I'm sorry.
St. Louis had lost 6 of 7, and they were really we had them.
I really thought we were going to come back and win that game. I really thought that. I'm like, holy crap, the Islanders we're about to see more late game heroics, and it is about to be fantastic to watch.
St. Louis was in a fragile state last night.
I still think they are.
You could, and you listen to Butch again, where Berube calls a timeout, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
Lane Lambert's upset that he called timeout." Well, what the hell does that even mean? He's allowed to call his timeout. Well, he didn't say anything to the team. Like, what? So what? And they're like, well, the Islanders, if they need it, they still have a timeout. What are you saying, that retroactively you want them to not get that timeout? I don't understand. That's why they have the timeout. And I said it when I'm watching the game. I'm like, he's got to call a timeout now. After that second fluky goal, 2 fluky goals in 18 seconds, tell me that's not what the Islanders have been all year. Just bing, bang, boom goals it just happens. Just kind of happens out of nothing, out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, bam, they win a game. I mean, and then Butchie's like, I don't know. I don't even know if he said, should he be allowed to call timeout there? He's got his hands together. I don't know if that's a timeout. The ref source seems like they gave it to him. But, bro, he's got a timeout
right there.
He has a timeout. Why would I don't understand. Why would you not?
I told you, I cannot listen to the Islanders broad telecast because of Butch Goring. It makes me dislike listening to him sometimes. There's just certain things he says. I'm like, it's just such a home crowd announcer mentality. And that's not who he's been. He was a little bit, but it's not who he's been. And it's like it's been it's like he's further shifting that direction. I'm like, Christ almighty. Oh, well, that's a holding of the stick right there. We
hold the stick all the time.
I love Matt Barzal. All right. I think he's the most talented player on this team. Every single time he's skating and going on his edges, he is grabbing the opposing player's stick and he is holding it at bay.
That's a penalty.
Yeah.
And even though the defensive end, they just, that's definitely, it's close, but yes, he did kind of grab the stick. We're riding the guy down there holding sticks and we don't call it. I just, you know what? The hometown announcer, the hometown color guy is supposed to be a homer.
Yeah.
But don't be ridiculous. You can't be ridiculous with it.
I just have so much respect for Butch. Not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's almost like a sellout but it's just not what I've ever expected. I don't know. I like when I listen to other telecasts, I don't ever hear them complaining about calls, complaining unless it's egregious, but they're not out there going grandstanding about this should have happened, that should have happened. And
I'm going to give AJ a little bit of credit. She said just say, "Oh, the Islanders really got away with one there." Obviously, I mean, the officials let us do a lot of stuff. We get away with a lot of holding, hooking, interfering. We do.
And that's playoff hockey. And I think that's why we're a good playoff style and playoff built team.
Yeah.
We're a big physical team, and we're a team that could go ahead and manhandle smaller, more skilled teams. And in the postseason, when they don't call those penalties, it is tailor-made for Islander style of hockey. It's all about, do we make it to the postseason, though? So it's all about.
I still think we're going to make it.
I still do too. I think it's going to be close. Here's the thing. I'm not expecting us to finish where it's like, hey, 7 games left in the season, we've qualified for the playoffs. I expect it to be going down the last 2 or 3 games. It's going to be close down to the wire, Grump. My opinion.
Yeah, I just hope the Rangers don't wake up. If they wake up, we're in trouble.
I don't even think it's a waking up for them. I think it's more the fact that Shesterkin was so unbelievably unconscious last year, and it's impossible to expect him to do that again. To put down the flip side, Sorokin's been, for the most part, unbelievably unconscious this year. I think it's tough to imagine him doing that again next season. But
yeah, he's been sensational. He's been our MVP. Matt Barzal has been the best forward. I know Nelson's got 12 goals, but he's not as good as he has been in the past. Anders Lee, 8 goals. I mean, he's got the quietest 8 goals I've ever seen. You got 38 special out there. He's got how many goals? 7 or 8 goals. I don't know. Noah Dobson's been good on defense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Grumpy says he doesn't know.
I don't know. I'm just at a loss.
I will tell you this. Anytime I see these young players like the Fashion kid, who was, and maybe he's not a kid. I haven't even looked up his age.
29, isn't he?
Oh, is he 29? Okay.
Well, he's older.
I like what I've seen from him. But here's the thing. This is the problem. If we have a healthy bottom 6, Fashion never sees the sun of day, because we have so many bottom 6 forwards that we feel are important for us to sign back. A guy like Fashion, I think, has brought more to the table than what I saw out of a healthy Cal Clutterbuck.
What about Jarnac last year?
Yes, players like that. That's what I mean. We don't have to feel so.
Re-sign our bottom 6 guys to ridiculous long-term deals when they're in their 30s. You know what they call that? Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I tell you, I like what I've seen from Fashion, but hopefully, right, for his sake, players are out injured a little longer, because he's, in my opinion, he should be on an every night roll. I like what the bottom 6 has to have energy. I think Fashion's done that. You've got to be playing like you've got your hair's on fire. He does that. And you got to be an energy guy. He's all of those items. Our 30 plus years old are not energy guys anymore. Sorry. So I'd like to see Fashion continue to play. I like what I've seen from him. It's early, right? The same exact item I'll use for Holmstrom. We've played some bottom tier teams. I am willing to say that, right? Depending on how we do against these top tier teams, depending on how he plays, I think that will do a lot for where I think he is as an overall player. I don't watch any Bridgeport games at all. None. So when they get up to the NHL, they're all like new players for me. Every single one of them. I don't have the time of the day to watch Bridgeport and Islander games.
I can't wait till Bridgeport rolls through town to play the Charlotte Checkers. I can't wait, because I will be at those games, and you'll get a full update on guys like Samuel Bolduc, William Dufour, Atu Ratu, hopefully Casper Holmstrom, because he'll be back where he belongs, in the A. Ruslan Isakov.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
why not give that kid a shot? You want to put somebody on the first line? Put that kid on the first line.
Yeah. And Ishakov's not a guy who could play a bottom 6 role. But he started off Holmstrom on the top 6 for the first 5 games he played. Yeah. He registered 0 shots over that time period.
What a failure he's been. Just offensively, a failure. How can you put, like I told you, Leo Komarov was a better fit on the first line than Simon Holmstrom.
Oof. Makes you think, doesn't it? But Grumpy, I want to get into comments here. But before we get into some comments, we do have an ad to read from DraftKings. Hockey fans light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. And if that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into even bigger payouts with same-game parlays. You can combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and much more for your shot at an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code THPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes in the description for additional details.
Yeah.
Something
Nice job.
I have entered, Grumpy. I have entered the world of Andy Francis. Grumpy.
Why?
Andy, you remember Andy when last time
I know him.
we talked with him? Yeah, Grumpy, Andy Francis, friend of the show. Guest on the show. You remember him?
I don't want to be in his world.
Oh, stop. But him and I were talking a little World Cup. I'm sorry for everybody who wants us just to talk hockey. This is a little quick aside. It's going to take a few seconds, but Andy Francis, him and I have a little friendly wager as to what's going to happen between the England and France game. Andy has got England. I still have France.
England.
He's got England beating France this Friday.
No.
I've got France winning. So here is the wager, and I want you to weigh in on this. He says, my first thoughts: if France advances, I have to buy a number 8 Islanders jersey. That's Noah Dobson with $10 million on the back. But if England advances, I have to buy a Scott Mayfield jersey with $5 million on the back of it. Because Andy was always the guy saying Scott Mayfield deserves to be paid $5 million a year. It's funny, right? I definitely have come around to thinking that too. I think he's going to get that on the open market, and I don't
think we've ever disagreed with Mayfield possibly getting that.
No, I don't think we did. I just said the Islanders wouldn't pay that, but he was like, Islanders need to pay that. So that's where I think it is. But I think he'll definitely get paid $5 million. I just
I'd feel better off, honestly. I'd feel better off getting the number 8 jersey with $10 million on the back because Dobson's going to be here a while. Mayfield's going to be gone, like in 6 months. He's gone.
Well, I want to do it. I want a little amendment on it. I want it to say $10M, and then it says man. So $10 million man. And I want it to say,
okay,
I want to say Mayfield, $10 million man, a $5 million man.
No. I mean, come on. What's wrong?
Come on. I like this idea from Andy. I never.
First of all, who's going to actually do that, and how much are they going to charge? You can't put man on there. You're going to run out of space.
No, I'm not going to put 10. I'm not going to just put 10M for the stand of M means million, and then man. It's going to be less characters. Maybe it's because I'm cheap, but less characters. But hey, I do like this. So I've got a lot riding on the France-England game. I want Andy to have himself a little Noah Dobson $10 million man jersey.
When was the last time that England beat a good team?
Good question.
I'm interested because I can't remember the last time they beat a good team.
I think they've got.
They lost in the Euros to Italy, who weren't even good enough to make the World Cup a year later. A year later, we're not good enough to make the World Cup. That's who they lost to. They don't beat anybody. They get the nice cushy little draw. They're playing France. France is going to steamroll them. France has some injuries to the midfield because we talked about it on the TJ and Grumpy Old Man show.
Shit, I forgot to mention that.
There's a shock, which we talk about anything that goes in sports. That's on Thursdays, 9:00 TJ time, and Sundays, 8:00 TJ time, which is everything usually about a half hour late. And here's the thing: we talk about this, and I've said that France, with the World Cup being held now, is at a disadvantage because of all the injuries to the midfield.
Yeah. Canty, Pogba, so many injuries to the midfield. Those are just big name guys. I mean, like they've got a lot
Benzema's out.
Yeah, Karim Benzema's out. You lost Hernandez, one of the Hernandez brothers recently at left back. So, a lot of injuries. I still am riding with my boys from France. I still think France is going to beat England. It's not going to do anything to Portugal. Cristiano's coming. Cristiano's going to be back in the lineup, Grumpy. And he
won't. No, he won't. No.
Let's save this for tomorrow, but let's move along with some hockey. Let's stay on schedule. JG says, so is anybody else a bit frustrated?
I am frustrated. I am very frustrated, JG. Very
How are you
frustrated.
frustrated, Grumpy? Tell me.
Frustrated. I tell you, I had a rough few days. Then I had to watch the Islanders give up 7 goals. And the worst thing was listening to Butch explaining how, well, if this goes, something would have happened here, we would have won the game. Dude, you're down 5-1. Circumstances dictate how teams play. We got 2 lucky goals. He doesn't say that. Bouncing one off a guy's skate, that's a lucky goal. Fluttering one that gets deflected, that's a lucky goal. So don't tell me that.
Andrew L. said, Fashing actually looks like a competent player. I've liked what I've seen from him.
He's just a bottom 6 guy.
Yes. It's the age-old thing that we've always talked about. Our team not willing to, or our team just is resistant to ever let a bottom 6 guy go. And we have a whole bunch of competent bottom 6 guys we can have on vet minimum playing the bottom 6 for us and doing a good job.
Again, this is like Jarnac last year. It's like Cole Bardreau has looked at times.
Yes.
It's like these guys, they're hungry.
Yep.
So
and they're trying to prove something.
They're trying to prove something. Then you got a guy like Simon Holmstrom who just, hey, I'm a first-round draft pick. I don't even deserve to have a pair of skates, let alone play hockey. But somehow I come up. I don't get to play on the 4th line like everybody else earning their stripes. Everybody, when Barry Trotz was here and Lou Lamoriello, Wahlstrom, Dobson, everybody limited. You make a mistake, you go to the bench. Not him. Not him.
Bellows this year, 7 minutes, never gets another game.
Banished.
Sent to Siberia.
Team. Didn't want him. Get rid of him.
And is Bellows going to pan out? Probably not.
Sallow.
Got the chance.
I mean, and he comes in and he's gifted a spot on the first line. 5 games, no shots on goal. 5 games, no shots on goal, playing on the first line with the best player on the team who covers up for your mistakes because he handles the puck so you can pick your nose wherever you're standing on the ice.
Matthew S. said, good evening, gents. Right on time as usual. There it is. D-Cut says, 8:32 with an angry face. Shay says, I like Fashing. Let him stay even when Cal Clutterbuck's healthy. I wouldn't be opposed to this. I will say I'm taking it with a grain of salt. How is he going to look against the top tier teams? How does he look against Boston? How does he look against the Devils? How does he look against some of these? How does he look against the Hurricanes? If he still looks exactly like what we're seeing right now against the Cellar Dwellers, I'm all in for it. I think Fashing shows the energy that we need from a bottom 6 guy, where Cal is towards the tail end.
Okay. When Cal Clutterbuck is healthy, this guy's going down to minors.
I know he is. It's an unfortunate thing. That's all I'm saying. Unfortunate.
I mean, I don't want to go through that again.
I don't know. I know.
We have like 4 teams worth of bottom 6 players.
I'm just saying 35-year-old Cal Clutterbuck as a 4th line guy. Maybe he doesn't bring the same energy that Fashing does.
2-year contract extension, because that's what you do. You give guys in their mid-30s contract extensions. They play on the 4th line. Who cares? He's a great locker room guy. Yeah, you know what I care about? If you're a good on-ice guy.
Coach Tommy B of Coach Baffy's Corner says, all rise in New York for the new captain, Aaron Judge.
What a blunder. What a blunder.
You don't like that?
He sucks.
It's better than
he sucks. You know something? I don't want to hear anyone on any planet anywhere telling me how Aaron Judge is such a great player. A-Rod got ripped unmercifully for his playoff performances. You want to know something? This kid isn't even half the player that A-Rod was in the playoffs. He sucks. He can be pitched to. He's great in the regular season when, he could just launch those fly ball home runs. Good for you. You had the best year of your career in your 30-year-old season, and you get rewarded with a 9-year, $40 million a year contract. Bust. He's a bust. He's never going to hit home runs like that again. He's never going to have that batting average. Sorry, Aaron freaking Judge. No use for you. Look at his playoff stats. He's miserable. Just the worst. I'm sorry. I can't talk about him anymore unless somebody else comments on it. Then I'll rip him again. But what a bad deal by the Yankees. Just terrible. Let me see where TJ was here. I don't know what the heck he's doing. He bails, doesn't even tell me he's leaving. Here we go. Okay. Ponyboy Curtis says, hello. Shay says, I feel you, Grump. It's been stressful for me too. I have to get all my assignments done as well as study for finals. Shay, I feel you. I mean, midterms are right on you. Good luck. I hope you're happy. And I love your picture there of Varlamov with a dog. Tommy Baffy says, Sorokin had a bad game. He absolutely did. Matthew S. says, Romanov, Lee, Bavillier were awful. You could throw a whole bunch of other guys in there too. But you're right. Romanov, noticeable how bad he's been. And Anders Lee, just invisible. Shay says, I was at the game yesterday. I got a puck from Barzy. He threw me two because some grown man grabbed the first one out of my hands. He remembered me when he came in. Nice guy, Matt Barzell, best player on the team. Shay, you must be something special because he didn't try to give you one puck. He tried to give you two. Good for you. Shay also adds, I usually sit with BOA and my section was asleep, except when the Islanders scored those goals at the end of the game, just like the Islanders. It's shameful. Tommy Baffy blames lost on Frank Kaplan. That's a common refrain. Alan A says, how did we not draft our useless Bridgeport head coach's son? He's better than our entire forward group combined. Nothing will change with this organization until the Lamarillos are exiled. Frank K says, Holmstrom sucks. Agreed. Romanov blows. Also agree. Lee and Bailey look old. True there too. Bad first and second periods catching up. Devils are going to kill them on Friday. Possible. Extremely possible. Shay says, 4 goals and assists for Tage Thompson in the first period against Columbus. Man, that kid was there for the taking, wasn't he? Ponyboy Curtis says, I dead-ass thought they was going to win last night. Lane pulled Sorokin 30 seconds too early on that 6th St. Louis goal. Ponyboy Curtis also says, unpopular opinion, I don't think the Islanders really played bad last night. They made some really catastrophic blunders. I think maybe you could put it that way. Shay says, we're better off not pulling our goalie when down. Well, we don't know about that. John Smith says, this team is painfully mediocre. Say bye-bye to the first-round pick again. Book it. They shouldn't let the old man, they should take his Rolodex away from him. That's what they should do. They should not let him make a deal. No freaking way should we be trading any future draft picks for players this year. Should not happen. No freaking way. Shay says, the Islanders are like the Rangers of last year. Mediocre team with top goal trend, good power play. TJ already touched on that. Frank K says, lack of depth showing in the organization too. Launch Lou into Epcot. Okay. Little Disney reference. Jake Bellow says, about Phil's facts. Does anyone ever check them? LOL. Don't even waste your time. Phil's off his meds.
No, stop.
He absolutely is.
No,
he's ridiculous. We have to get him on the show because I got to straighten him out. He's been pathetic.
I figured we were going to start probably getting guests back on the show probably about midway through the year. We're almost there. But, that's when we kind of get the chance to talk about all the predictions we made in the offseason, where we rely on those type of items.
So far, I feel confident in my prediction that we're going to be scraping to be the last team in the playoffs.
I tell you, Grumpy. Now, you had also read one of these earlier, I think. You had said there regarding Tage Thompson. You said he was for the taking. What's worse? Tage Thompson, I think, was originally drafted and he was traded. Am I wrong? Was he drafted by the Blues?
Yes. And traded to Buffalo in the Ryan O'Reilly trade.
I know Ryan O'Reilly won a cup with them.
Okay. In their defense, that's why you trade for a guy like that, to win a cup. And it worked for them. So they got a cup. All the picks that we've traded, what have they turned in for us? Dungats on a stick. Absolutely nothing.
I'm going to tell you this. The Buffalo Sabres, do you know how well, we talked about how well Tage Thompson has played this year. And if you had to ballpark, how many points do you think Tage Thompson has on the year?
30. He had 5 tonight.
Tage Thompson has 40 points in 26 games.
Wow.
He's got himself 21 goals and 19 assists.
And he's, isn't he Brett Thompson?
He's Brent Thompson's son. Yep.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
You think maybe we could get him this? Oh no, he signed a big contract back with Buffalo. What does it tell you when your dad's in an organization and he can't convince you to go there? What does that mean?
Or his dad can't convince the organization to draft his son.
Well, no, he should talk to his son. Hey, let's come to the Islanders. Come on, kid. Me and you rule the galaxy as father and son. Maybe something like that. I don't think that happened.
I can't. He's had, and again, I think it's because he plays for Buffalo, but quietly, he's had such a fantastic year.
He was good last year, too.
Yeah, that was his first real big year on the scene.
Yeah.
38 goals, 30 assists in 78 games. I mean, this year he's off to an even better start. You know, he's done it without skipping a beat, that's for certain. Yeah. 6 points tonight for Tage Thompson. 5 goals, 1 assist. Unfreaking real.
Pretty good.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Phil sent me something. Phil's facts.
God, not Phil.
I'll tell you one thing. I will look forward to having Phil back on the show. He can explain to me why.
We like Phil. Phil's a great guy.
Oh, here it is. This is what
he's just insane. He's just insane. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't be a good guy just because you're crazy. A lot of crazy people are really good. They're just
Humpy, you're going to see there's a lot of these type of numbers again.
Oh, what is this? Again with the silly little shits that he just made up. He just created this in his basement. That's what he did.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing between the wee hours of the morning every day. He's creating these little spreadsheets. Is that what you're saying, Grumpy?
I don't know what.
He's saying every line, if you look at the top lines, every line has, or 2 of the top 3 lines this year have had Simon Holmstrom involved in them.
And Parise on the other.
Parise and Palmieri. Yeah. Okay.
Stop. Just stop. Like I said, just stop. He's insane. Get back on the meds, Phil.
No, stop.
Please.
Stop. You can't do that.
Phil's crazy. He's just crazy.
Shay said Mayfield didn't look good last night, but he's been our best all-around defender this year.
He's been really good. He's in a contract year.
He's
going to get paid. He's going to get paid, and it won't be by us.
I was about to say, I think she might actually have a point there. I think she might actually, I'm not like she has a point with the saying, but I think Mayfield might actually be, if you look at the defensive contribution, the offensive contribution, if he's not the best defender we've had this year, he's the second best. I loved what I've seen out of Scott Mayfield this year. And trust me, just as you mentioned, it doesn't escape me the fact that this is a contract year as he's 30 years old and playing his best hockey ever.
Just like Aaron Judge. Maybe he'll get a $40 million a year deal from the Islanders.
Ivan D. Grumpy.
Most teams capitalize on their goal chances. The Islanders rarely do. I disagree. I think we've capitalized an awful lot this year on just flurries in front of the net. You know, you're never going to see something from us. Oh, look at that beautiful tic-tac-toe pass goal. It was so pretty to watch. Us, it's like throw things at the net. Everyone crashes in front of the goalie, falls down, trips over the paint. Puck goes into the net, doesn't go into the net. They overrule it, give him a goal like Matt Martin the other night. I'm like, oh, come on, stop, please.
They collide with the goalie, Grumpy. And they go ahead and get the
a lot of those
rebound. Goals. Oh, there it is. D-Cut says, fire TJ, hire D-Cut. There it is. Frank K said, defense looks eerily similar to Doug Waite's. Sad but true.
Why, though? Why? Because for us to generate any offense with the same cast and crew, we had to have the defense joining the rush, crashing the net, stuff like that. It's going to leave you vulnerable on the back end. If the goalie's playing as well as Sorokin and Varlamov have played this year, you're going to win 9 times out of 10. Well, maybe not. Maybe 16 times out of 11 out of 27. But, you know, if you don't have that great goaltending, you give up 7 goals like they did last night.
I would argue that our defenders and our defenders are, you know, our goaltending is definitely better than it was under Doug Waite, superior to what it does under Doug Waite. But I'd argue our actual defenders are better defenders than what we had under the Doug Waite system.
True.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How would that Doug Waite system fared? How would Doug Waite have fared if he was the head coach over this team here?
Better.
Because remember, the first half of that season, Doug Waite had a way better record than Lane Lambert has at this point. He had I think it was 18, 11, and 6 or something of that nature. He was off to a really good start. Or maybe it was even better than that. I have to go back and look at the numbers. Doug Waite was off to a really good start. And it makes you, and the thing is just to kind of started to compile, and yikes. Imagine trying to run that run and gun style with Johnny Boychuk as a defender. The one thing about our defensemen is every single one of our defensemen out there on the ice, for the most part, are average to above average skaters. I think Scott Mayfield probably is the slowest of foot, and when you say who's this, maybe Pulak is a slower defenseman? Pelech. I put them, Pelech, Mayfield, and Pulak are all average to below average skaters.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shea says, I believe 15 games since his last goal. I don't know who that is for, but damn it.
Actually, that's the picture of the guy right there.
Hire me, says Frank K. JG says, agreed, Grump. Romanov sucked.
He was terrible. He was terrible last night.
Analytics crowd equals Phil's facts.
No, it's Phil's facts. In other words, he puts you to sleep.
No, it's not. Here's the thing. It's more than I looked online because Phil will send me like a tweet sometimes, and I don't look. I'm like, these tweets are getting hundreds of likes, Grumpy. I'm like, holy shit. The analytics crowd. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people who are all analytics.
You know what? Here's the thing, people. Look with your eyes. Look at the TV screen. Look at the players. Don't look at the spreadsheet.
Pony Boy Curtis says, Holmstrom's not a bottom six guy. He's not an NHLer, period. That's it. He has no NHL career. Forget about bottom six. He'll be in the A for the K for life.
The K for life.
Oh, the AHL or the K. I'm sorry, I ruined your comment there, Pony Boy.
He's terrible. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's just, I don't know what, he did nothing to deserve being called up. Shouldn't you call up the player who's playing the best? He doesn't do anything defensively. He does less than nothing offensively. He's terrible.
Shea says here, Pelech didn't even know where he was after that hit. He definitely looked dazed. And Matthew S. said, very concerned about Pelech, as am I. Yep. Shea says, do they put Salo with Mayfield, or do they put Pulak or with Pulak if Pelech is out for a while?
I think you're going to see Pulak with, I don't think you can put Roman. Man, who are you going to put Romanov with? You got to put him with, you have to put him with Mayfield. And then you're going to put, I think, Pulak with Salo and leave Dobson with Aho. He's not going to change that one up.
Okay, so we're just going to say, hey, Pulak, get ready for a little bit more.
And Salo, get ready for a little on-job training.
Baptism by fire. Pony Curtis says 5 minutes into the second period, Buffalo's up 6-0. They're up 9-2 now. The ring thief is in the house. Oh,
didn't we just lose to Columbus?
No, we didn't lose to Columbus, did we?
I thought we lost them the last game we played them. No,
let me go back. No, we want to beat them 3-2. We came back. We were losing. We were down 2-1. I want to come back.
Okay.
Pat Honahan says here, LOL, we have 32 points. We were due an off night like last night. The Blues were due a win. Were on a 4-game losing streak, I believe.
6 out of 7.
Yeah, 6 out of 7. Yep.
That game was there for the taking, though.
It was. Dika says, don't play Dr. TJ. You can hardly read.
Oh, wow.
And tell you, when somebody comes up like, ooh, and they can't stand like that and they can't balance, it's because they got a concussion.
Very true.
Mayfield's been better than Pelech this year defensively, in my opinion, says Shea. What do you think about that, Grumpy?
They've been comparable, I think.
Okay. Pat H also says, I love checking in on this crowd after you guys want to blow up the team in August. LOL, eating your words right now. Pat, I'm not eating my words at all.
Really? We're a borderline playoff team where by the time Christmas rolls around, we could be 6-8 points out of a playoff spot. Could be.
Yep. We right now are with teams have 2 games. 2 teams behind us have 2 games in hand. We're 6th right now in the conference.
The Rangers, as miserable as they've been miserable.
Awful.
We're only 3 points behind us. Same amount of games played. Just 3 points. You know they're going to play better.
Capitals
they can't be that miserable all year. They cannot be that. Forget the Capitals. Forget the Capitals. The Rangers, who've been playing terribly, are only 3 points back. The Capitals have played more games than us, and they're 4 points back after they beat Philadelphia tonight.
They played one more game. Yeah. I'm just saying the easy part of their schedule is coming up, and they're getting healthier. Tom Wilson comes back. Nick Backstrom comes back. That's a different Washington Capitals team. That's
If
all.
Washington puts on a run and makes the playoffs, we're not making the playoffs this year.
I think it's going to be a really close. For just a casual hockey fan, this division, the Metropolitan Division, is going to be the most interesting division to watch because everything is so tight.
It's always tight every year, and then towards the end, teams kind of separate. And the Islanders have fallen off usually at the end of the season. Maybe it won't be the case this year, but who knows?
D-cut. This is exactly, I told you, Grumpy. I said I was going to add it up. We are 32nd in the NHL regarding the strength of schedule we face against this year. Yikes. Thank you very much, D-cut. That was a point I was going to bring up too. The strength of schedule we have played has been abysmal. Worst in the NHL. And we are 16-11. We have played the easiest schedule in the NHL so far, year to date, 16-11.
We should be 25-2.
32nd. Worst strength of schedule. The easiest strength of schedule.
Yeah, we've gotten most of the bad teams out of the way.
Yep.
And even the good teams we played early, they had a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I'm just saying, I am cautiously optimistic. This stretch starting Friday is going to tell us who the New York Islanders are. That's it. If we come out and we light the world on fire and win 7 games out of 9, this team is making the postseason no matter how many drops there are this season. If they come out of this with a 7-2 record, Grumpy, out of this 9-game stretch, I don't think it's going to be the case. But if they do, watch out. I'm all on board.
If we win 7-2, I think I'm going to get you a Bailey's the best jersey. That we're not winning 7 out of 9, though. Not in that. But after the first 3 games, we won't even have the ability to win 7 out of 9.
Brandy Gaines said, we'll be out of a playoff spot in 2 weeks. As bad as Pelech has been this year, losing him is going to hurt the team even more. Absolutely. I could not agree more. The best thing that that can happen to this team is missing the playoffs. They need an organizational wake-up call.
They got one last year, and they just ignored it. The Fossil just ignored it. Him and Fredo. Fossil was across the street picking a bag of damn oranges. Fredo's picking his teeth. Lamarillo's getting shot crossing the street, and Fredo's going, Papa, Papa. Stop.
Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness gracious.
And then you got Barzini up there just letting it play out, right? Just disgraceful. Sorry.
Coach Simon B said, I think we go 4-5 over that stretch. Let me ask you that, Grumpy. 4-5 is kind of what I expect too. I think that's a good number. Anything better than that, I look at as a success. If we go 5-4 over this stretch, that's a success. 6-3, success. Anything less than 4-5, complete failure.
I think the loss of Pelech is going to be really damaging.
Yes, it is. I do think we beat Colorado, though. There is no way we lose to Colorado. Think about okay, Landeskog, McKinnon, Byram. I mean, like, look at all the guys that are out there. Josh Manson, that's a team we should roll. That's an automatic win.
Even Charlie Manson is a loss.
But yeah, I think Tommy B, 4-5. Anything less than 4-5 is a complete failure. 5-4 and 4-5 is kind of what I expect around that area. If we go 6-3, I think that's a big success. 6-3 is a success over this schedule,
Has
right?
this team showed that we can? I just don't see it. I don't see us going in this 9-game stretch. You see us winning 5 or 6 games. I don't see that.
I'm not saying I see us winning 9 or 6 games. I'm
Rangers
just saying
and Arizona. That's it. Maybe Colorado. Maybe we go 3-6. Maybe.
Okay.
We're losing the first 3 games. That you can write that down. And then you're going to see everyone's going to come back Saturday and next Wednesday, and the sky's going to be falling.
Brandon Gaines says here, get rid of Tage's father. Kataniemi, who chose Countonin, who chose Bellows over Tage Thompson. Their scoring department
scouting department
has
been absolute garbage. Even hitting on first just 2 times, 15 and 18. How are you going to get consistently better as a team if your scouting department, for the most part, absolutely sucks? Well, why didn't they blow them out of the water when they changed regimes? They didn't do it. And here's the thing. You know what else is really tough to hit on draft picks The youth blood, the lifeblood of a team is when you keep on trading away for ex-New Jersey Devil players who are in their 30s or guys who are third liners and give them $5 million a year contracts. That's how you don't turn your team over. You have to have young players come in to make it financially solvent your team. You cannot keep on paying veterans. That's how you wind up in cap jail. That's where we're at. We can't make moves, supposedly, because we keep on signing these overpriced veterans to long-term extensions. Just foolish. Instead of drafting young players, sliding them into the roster, turning your roster over gradually. Not us. We want to be the Devils of the 2010s. Stop.
Phil's Fact said, we need to read this to you. Andy Francis.
Oh, Phil, again, what's he going to say? It's got to be something else insane. I can feel it.
He said, for Andy Francis said, prototypical Nordic player, responsible, clean hockey. I'm typically hard on prospects, and I'm generally skeptical about their ability to transition into the NHL. But this is the one I've liked the most since Devon Taves' rookie year. Great in his own end and in transition. It's easy to see.
Who's he talking about?
Talking about Simon Holmstrom. Grumpy.
Oh, my God. They're both insane. They're both crazy. Here's the thing.
We
open up the garage, turn the car off, open up the garage door because you're all sniffing fumes right now.
We do know Andy is thinking England's beating France. So, we're kind of wondering. Kind of not just kidding.
Oh,
I hope I'm not eating my words and buying a Mayfield $5 million man jersey. Nick D says, TJ Grumpy, how you guys doing tonight? Well, guys, it's our turn to suck. With Pelech being out, we'll see if we will relive the 2019 season again. Yikes.
We won't. We made it to the playoffs that year.
2019 was the first year under Trotz. I think maybe he meant 2018 under Doug Waite.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. Joseph C. said, combine the Rangers and Islanders together, and New York might have something. Yeah. I think so. Could you imagine a guy? Okay, we've always talked about. Could you imagine Panarin with Matt Barzal?
Yeah, he played us. Absolutely played us in those contract negotiations. Absolutely did. That's what we are. We're the team that gets played in free agency.
Well, not this year. We played every other team.
He's a liar.
You get him, Lou Lamoriello. Go get him, buddy.
He's a liar.
Christopher C said, how the hell has Pittsburgh passed us?
They win a lot of games.
They played really good hockey as of recent. And that was a team that was banged up, and they still have some injuries. Their goaltending was miserable to start the year.
Yep.
And they've looked more adequate. And every other facet of their game has been good. It's just the goaltending was really, really struggling early.
Crosby's been really good.
Yeah. I can look up.
That's a difference between them and us. They have a lot of skill players. Their best players, even though they're older, are really, really good. Our old players, they suck.
Sidney Crosby so far this year, 35 points in 26 games, 15 goals, 20 assists. Holy crap.
That's pretty good.
Unbelievable. Pretty good. Yeah. Unbelievable play by him. Shay says, who plays which you do or who plays
Varlamov against the Devils, Sorokin against the Hurricanes, or flip-flop? I'd say Varlamov against Varlamov against Carolina, Sorokin against the Devils.
So Sorokin plays Friday night, and then we'll have Yeah, I was about to say he'll have adequate rest. Last game is Tuesday. He has Wednesday, Thursday, so 2 days off. You could definitely play Sorokin against the Devils.
And Varlamov has been really good against Carolina. Okay,
well there it is. You've sold me.
Either him or Sorokin. One of the two of them will be really good against Carolina.
Yep. Yeah. Pat H said, yeah, we will beat Colorado. I agree. We're going to kill Colorado. I really think that would be a shock if we lost. D-Cut says the only game we win in that stretch is versus the Coyotes. Oh, goodness gracious. And then Matthew S. said the NHL should be ashamed with the scheduling of the Ranger games.
Really? I mean, we're done playing them before Christmas?
That I think is nuts. I think that's nuts too.
They should. Every team in your division, you should play at least 4 times, maybe even 5. Just play the Western teams once a year. That's how you solve it. Just play them once a year. And I don't care. 1 year you play one division on the road, You play the other one at home, and then you flip-flop divisions every other year. That's how you do it.
We've got a few Western Coast games, little West Coast trips here coming up. We've got one in December, and we've got another 4-game trip in January.
That's usually death for us too.
To come in here, Pat H saying the Avalanche have been an AHL team out there right now. Yeah, there's no winning games, but they're playing with a fraction of who they should and what that roster should look like.
True.
And Charles D said average Anders needs to sit.
He's been terrible. He's been terrible.
Joseph C. Grumpy.
Pittsburgh is always dangerous. Top 2 lines are very good. Solid D, good enough regular season goaltending. Yeah, and they got Crosby and Malkin and Gensel. I mean, they're a good team. And they have a good coach.
Absolutely grumpy. Hold on, I'm trying to get.
I'll go to the next comment. Pat Hana, yeah, I'll go with that one. Isles will be finishing second in the Metro. No way, Pat. Sorry. I don't know why you think we'll be fighting for a player spot. Why? Because we're not better than the Devils, Carolina, or Pittsburgh. That's why. We're not better than either of those 3 teams. Who are we going to beat out? That's my question. Who you think that we're going to beat out Carolina? Carolina owns us.
I know we beat them. Yeah, we beat them.
Here's what happens. Carolina comes down to town. There's a stool over there. We bend over, and they pound us from behind. That's what happens every time we play Carolina. They're too good for us. Too much speed.
Anyway.
Too much forecheck.
So
wait till you see it. Without Pelech back there, my God, I don't know how many goals they might score.
Brandon Gaines wanted us to talk about this, and I think it's and I know next time we have him on, I'm sure we're going to talk about this one too. But man, oh man, Grumpy, you talk about the draft selection we've had in years past. Sorokin, look at that 2014 draft. Even though we missed big time on the first round picks, Sorokin and Devon Taves, 3rd and 4th round guys.
Yeah. Hosang never got a chance.
Yeah.
Del Cole couldn't skate.
Kyle Shemp.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you got Taves in the 4th round and Sorokin in the 3rd, that's huge.
Linus Soderstrom was a good goalie prospect.
Let's go to the other years, because this is still the snow era. So we can look at it. Barzell, that's definitely a good pick. Anthony Beauvillier, good pick, regardless of what you think. You got 2 guys come out of that draft that are everyday contributors. That's a good draft, right?
I'd say.
Then 2016, Kiefer Bellows, Golachev. He could have been something, but Barry Trotz sabotaged that. Otto Koivula, that's a pretty much a bust draft, right? You could say.
Yeah, I'd say the draft as a whole. That's what I'm doing a thumbs down. I still feel like Kiefer, if he was given a chance, maybe you're looking at something else. And people say, well, Kiefer didn't perform for the Flyers. Yeah, he was playing bottom 6 for one of the worst teams in the NHL. What are you expecting? That draft, the 2016 draft, was not a good draft class year for us.
27, 2 players who contribute, Robin Salo and Sebastian Aho.
Well, I wouldn't even say really they contribute. Sebastian Aho is now just getting his chance up there. Robin Salo has been an AHL guy. This is a meh.
But he's going to contribute. I feel confident about him.
Okay. And then 2018.
Here we go. This is the first draft of Lou Lamoriello. Not really. You got 3 guys, actually 5 guys, 6 guys still with the organization, but only maybe 3 have a shot, right? Maybe Ishikov, Dobson, and Wallstrom. That's the last of Garth Snow's tenure. That one. Lou Lamoriello does not get credit for the 2018 draft. Now I want to see the Lou Lamoriello drafts. These are the ones I'm interested in seeing. Let's see how many guys have made the team. I'll be interested. How many starters since 19, 20, 21, and 22 in 4 years? How many starters have we gathered out of the Lou Lamoriello draft picks? Let's roll 2019, please. Why did you get rid of it?
Hold on.
I do a big freaking build-up, and then you drop it from the screen.
It was only because Grumpy, he had sent me a screenshot of 2018. So here we go, 2019, Grumpy.
Simon Holmstrom. There's a bust. Samuel Bolduc.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Bolduc.
Reese Newkirk. I thought he should have already been gotten a shot when they let Casey Zizekas go. Felix Bibo.
You said Casey Zizekas. Who did you mean to say for that?
Reese Newkirk.
No, you said, hold on. Casey Zizekas didn't get let go.
He should have been let go and not re-signed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And give Newkirk a shot. Felix Bibo, he's not going to make it.
No.
Kolkowski, no.
Making it.
Oh, 2020. maybe William DeFore. That's
I
it.
like Alex Jeffries.
You
Alex
really think
Jeffries.
he's going to make it?
Here's the thing. Merrimack College, and people just tried to shit on Merrimack beforehand. Merrimack College is going to be competing there in the Frozen Four. They're a damn good squad right now. 15 games played, 20 points. He's a guy who might be able to carve himself into a spot of an NHLer. I'm just saying, right, for a 4th-round pick, you've got a guy who's produced at Merrimack College for a while, and he's played well again this year. He's played well every year he's done.
I think it's safe to say, though, with the 2 Lamarillo drafts from like 4 and 3 years ago, no surefire starters out of that group.
Correct. You have a few guys that are maybes.
Maybes, right.
Maybe.
2021, maybe one guy. Maybe.
I know Tristan Lennox did win the OHL goalie of the month. Good to see for him. Congratulations. But maybe 1 or 2. And 2022.
Who knows?
Who knows is right. Too early. But it's just like,
you don't see any Matt Barzals in there.
I didn't see any 13th overall. But we traded away all of our 1st-round picks.
There you go. Thanks for proving my point.
Yep. Absolutely.
We do have Kyle Palmieri, though. We got J.G. Pajot.
Yeah.
Got guys like that. Zach Parise. We got, Travis Zajac. He's at home right now, still getting our money.
Ivan D says, optimistically, the Islanders should make the playoffs. Look at the schedule. I think the Islanders do make the playoffs. I think we're right on the edge to where either we're going to be one of the bottom teams that get in or one of the first teams that miss out. Slightly above average, I think, is where we hold. D-Cut says 1-8. I told Frank K this a few weeks ago. He can confirm 1-8.
I think we'll be better than 1-8.
Oh, man. Good gracious. Joseph C said, the Hurricanes don't scare me unless Max Pacioretty comes back and plays like his hair is on fire. They're great defensively, but their offense is putrid. Talking about
I'd take Carolina over us any day of the week.
Time B says, Frank K is going to have a warm tribute concert.
A Wham
I'm sorry.
tribute concert in between periods on the 23rd floor, Christmas.
Hold on. What is a Wham tribute?
Wham. It was a musical group.
Oh, okay.
George Michael and Andrew somebody another in Wham.
Oh, Saturdays we lose our first game with those. Oh, so Saturday we're going to be playing with the fish stick jerseys on. Yeah, the retros, baby. Hot dog.
That's against Carolina.
Tony Chi says, show them the facts. Oh, goodness. Facts. Ponyberg Curtis Grumpy.
Holmstrom going to Disney on Ice along with Bailey at the deadline. Question is, who do we get in return? Hopefully a couple of Little Mermaids.
Who is the little bird in that movie? Oh, shit. Doesn't matter. Okay. Moving along. Drew L says, yo, what's up, guys? Yeah. Even average Anders is better than deformed sweet potato face on the first line, talking about Simon Holmstrom.
Yeah.
Goofy and Donald, JG says. That's who we're getting in return. 5 goals. Tage Thompson, says Shay. Ivan D says, boy, you really are Grump. A little optimism, man. Come to the other side. Ooh, come to the positive side, Grumpy.
Ivan, listen to me. What you'll learn is that I'm never wrong on these predictions. Ever. We're a borderline playoff team. I felt that we needed to put some distance between us and the teams that were behind us in this last 9-game stretch. We didn't do it. We were 4-5. 4-5 against the weakest part of our schedule. And now people, we're going to go 4-5 against the toughest part. That's not happening. We'll be lucky.
The likelihood is very low.
Lucky to go 3-6, probably 2-7.
Oof. If we're 2-7, yikes. 2-7.
It's going to be like a what do they say? Like a 3-alarm blaze going on this podcast. No. By Christmas time, it would be under 500. Ooh.
If we were under 500 around Christmas time, Grump, yikes.
Well, we could be 18-18.
Oof. We have not lost a single overtime. We've won all 3 overtime games this year.
Yeah.
I wonder how long that continues for.
How many has Carolina lost in overtime?
Dude, there's so many of these teams have lost so many overtime games. It's nuts. Carolina's lost 6 games in overtime or shootout. They have, in their last 10 games, Carolina has lost, in their last 10 games, they've lost 5 games in overtime /shootout.
They're going to beat us
How?
Saturday night. They're going to beat us. We're going to, you ever see like they take a rug out in the backyard and they take a big
stick.
with it, they just beat the hell out of it, knock all the dirt out of it. That's what we're going to be, that rug on Saturday night. That's what we're going to be. We're going to be the rug.
We're going to be going live during that game. We'll be talking Islanders hockey.
Carolina's going to be the freaking stick. Just bam, bam. Oh.
So for those of you, I know I'm doing that. I got right up there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not watching on a phone anymore. I've got myself a projector. The lovely Paige got me a Christmas gift. So I've got a projector. I can watch the games. I don't have to be squinting at everything on a little cell phone. So I can finally see everything. Tony Cheese says, if Lou's clean shaven rule has a negative on any player for our organization, it's certainly Holmstrom. That MFer needs a beard ASAP.
He can't grow a beard. He is an ugly kid, though.
Honeyberg Curtis says Bobrovsky is the Jeff Skinner of goaltending.
Oh, interesting.
Jeff Skinner's played well this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, but, come on.
I know. What do you mean, come on?
Come on. How's he been, Jeff Skinner? He had the one big year.
3 points last year.
Yeah, come on. What's he ever won?
Oh, hold on. What do you mean? He won the Calder.
What's he ever won?
The Calder Trophy.
What's he ever? How far has his team's gone in the playoffs?
I couldn't tell you.
Thank you very much. Not at all. Nothing. No.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. Tony Cheese says, seriously, he should be signed to a multi-year endorsement deal for the world's leading manufacturer in fake beards. Oh, no. Drew L said, these same analytics are what kills the Yankees every year. At the end of the day, the eyeball / potential is what really matters.
That's right.
Holmstrom also, in turn, sunk Matt Barzal and Oliver Wahlstrom's game as well. It was better when Lee was alongside Barzy and Wally.
All right. I'm going to tell you what. You want to know who's been the best guy with that line? Is probably Parise, only because we suck on the left wing position. He's a third liner at best, but once again, you got to spread the suck around. Might as well put him up top.
Gotta spread the
suck.
At
least Parise will hustle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to see that out of average. Wahlstrom doesn't know what he's doing out there.
Here.
I think he's just staring at his jersey most of the time. I never thought I'd get to wear one of these. Look at this. Oh, shit, that puck went in the net. But look, I still got the jersey.
Holmstrom had not, I think yesterday, he was his first goal against, but through 7 games, he's only been out there for 1 goal against, and that's what makes him a darling of the analytics crowd. Shay says, if you can pick one player on a team currently to put with Matt Barzal and Oliver Wahlstrom, who are you choosing?
I said Parise, but it's like, I don't know even what you're picking from. It's like you ever go like they have, hey, go in here for $10. You can go down there. We'll pull up an oyster for you. Open it up. There's no
Opa oyster.
There's no pearls in the Islanders left wing department. There are none.
Do you get to go back and pick another oyster if there's no pearls?
Well, yeah, we keep on pulling them and we keep on realizing, guess what? Just keep on throwing more first-round draft picks at them. Maybe we'll come up with somebody, but we never do.
Oh, good gracious, good gracious. Ponoker says,
why do these players have damn dogs with them, Shay? That's what I want to know.
Who has or had the worst contract? Russell Wilson, Jeff Skinner, Josh Bailey, or Rick DiPietro? Rick DiPietro, right? Rick DiPietro, Russell Wilson, one of the two.
Russell Wilson.
Worst? Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you. I could have given maybe Rick DiPietro just because he never played really after that contract.
Yeah, his was 15 years.
Jeff Skinner's played well this year. I hate everybody shitting on Jeff Skinner. He's played really well this year.
Russell Wilson's the worst.
Yeah, he's awful. He
single-handedly cost me money this year with his shitty performance. And I took the banana in the tailpipe on that one.
JG said, definitely DiPietro. No. Oh, no. D-Cut says, TJ, it's all your little buddies tweeting about how good Casper is. Call them out by name, Nutless. Oh, there it is. So nice there, D-Cut. Drew L said, at least the rest of the minus Skinners, at least the rest of those minus Skinner are relatively shorter term. We had to pay DiPietro for 7 more years.
Yeah, but it wasn't a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's making what, $35-40 million a year?
He's only a 4-year contract, though, right?
It's $160 million.
Yeah. What's that? The organization doesn't have to worry about
Oh
that.
my God. And the worst thing is having to watch him go out on the field. That's where it gets really bad.
JG says DiPietro is the luckiest son of a bitch on the planet. Bobby Bonilla just slightly luckier. I always think about Bonilla Day.
Yeah.
Michael Bechet says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Michael. This team needs a complete rebuild.
See, they're all coming around to my way of thinking eventually.
Freedom Fun Adventure says, greeting everyone's just tuning in. Any Pelech updates? I know I'm risking Grumpy banning me for life, but Holmstrom looks solid. Not great. I think he looks okay.
He sucks.
I think he looks okay.
Sucks. He does nothing out there. He's only noticeable when he's losing his puck off his stick. Otherwise, you don't even notice him. Bailey. He's the Bailey 2.0 is exactly what he is.
Bailey.
But I'll tell you what, at least Bailey helps his teammate off the ice and picks up extra sticks and shit. You don't see Simon Holmstrom doing that. Too busy staring at his jersey. Look, Mom, I made it. All the way from Sweden. I made it.
Oh, my God. D-Cut says, Tage Thompson's first period tonight, 4 goals. Matt Barzal this season, 3 goals. Look at this bastard. We are getting comments after the show where people will say they'll go back to the initial reaction we had when Matt Barzal signed that long-term deal. I think with Stefan Rosner was on the show, and even the one after that. They'll talk about Matt Barzal's being overpaid. I can't believe we're paying him this much not to score. Matt Barzal is the offense on this team.
He is scoring. He's our leading scorer this year.
Only 3 goals, though.
He's our leading scorer this year. He has on a more than a point a game pace. He's our leading scorer. It doesn't matter if he puts pucks in the net. If he's setting up guys like Croc Nelson, Average Anders, well, he's not setting up Simon Holmstrom or Josh Bailey because they won't shoot the puck. But if he's setting up Wallstrom or Dobson like he did last night, what a beautiful setup for Dobson for the first goal for us yesterday. That was all Matt Barzal again.
Yep.
I mean, he is scoring points. Is he scoring goals? No, but it's not like he's not shooting.
Drew L said, come on, Grumpy. You know Dictator Lou and Fredo don't want to call up guys like Ishikov, Ratu, and DeFore. They have Calder Cup aspirations.
They disgust me.
I'll tell you this much. Yeah. You know, Dufour is not ready. Ishikov, I think, maybe is the most. Ishikov or Ratu is the player I would want to see. If you need a top 6 guy up.
I am interested in seeing them play live because I want to see what the young guys do. Like I said, last year, Ratu was the only guy on the team. I thought was him and Kyle McLean of the forward group. I thought Salah was okay defensively, but Ratu and McLean were the 2 guys who stood out to me offensively. Nobody else. And I mean nobody else. Certainly not Holmstrom. He was noticeable for getting knocked on his keister every time he tried to go into a corner. Some guy just knocked him over, like just blew on him. Down he went.
Oh, goodness, Grumpy. Not even noticeable. He was
noticeable for his just terrible. And then he's like, oh, well, look, he had a goal at the end. Yeah, he was freaking goal hanging.
Michael Bechet, Grumpy.
Time to move on from Uncle Lou. His time has passed. Very, very true.
Tommy
B. says Lou takes all responsibility for the season, no matter the outcome.
Yep.
I don't think he'll blame somebody else.
But he should. All the response for
everything is on him now. He doesn't have the armadillo as a scapegoat anymore. That's done.
Ponyberg Curtis does have some breaking news. Breaking news. Islanders signed Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau there. Both to 4 years, $4.5 million AAV. Heart face. Wouldn't that be something? Mr. B says, I went to Nova Scotia Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony a couple weeks ago to watch a friend get inducted. Well, that must be nice. Good. Congratulations, Mr. B. Also, getting the nod to the Nova Scotia Hall of Fame was Islanders legend John Sim.
I wouldn't say he was a legend. He was okay. And I always consider him like a 4A player. Yeah. And he put up some points for us in the really, really dark times of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But he was certainly a fan favorite and nice guy.
All hockey players and all
they are. They're
very nice people.
Of all the athletes, they're nice. You know why? Because they don't come from America.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why they're nice. They're mostly from other countries.
Joseph C says Tammy Duncan was the figure skater in the
Tammy Duncan. That's right. Yes.
Michael Shea also says we need to move on from Butch Goring as well.
Yeah, he's hard to listen to.
Who is it who was with Butch just a few weeks ago commenting? Was it? I can't remember who the hell was it. Potvin up there?
Yeah, Potvin was up there and Trottier was up there.
Okay, I'd be fine with either.
He's better with them. He's better with them because they kind of know what they're doing still.
Yeah,
and it's a tough job for Butch. It's tough to sell what the Islanders are trying to sell. You know, rotten fish. How do you sell that?
You got to be very clever.
Yeah. He just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Trotz was up there and Potvin, well, Dennis was shilling his Potvin socks, but Trottier was really good.
Socks.
Yeah, I mean, I love hearing the old guys talk about the past. You can tell that they're just having fun, and I like that.
Absolutely, Grumpy. Kutchite Revenge says, "Is it worth taking another look at Kiefer Bellows?"
No. Nope.
Yeah.
It is the worst thing about it. He played really well in the preseason. Really well.
That's how I feel shitty for him as a player and a professional athlete. Because what are you supposed to do, right? You come out there in game situations, you look great, you perform, you do great. It's like in spring practice, you're doing a great job. All the way leading up to the freaking first game of the season, you're doing a great job. And then your first time out there on the ice or first time on the field, they say, oh yeah, you're splitting reps and you're only going to play on 3rd and long situations where they're blitzing. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, I just feel bad for him as a professional athlete. Sucks. Played well in preseason, did never get a chance. Was he meant to be a guy who's a top 6 player? No. Could maybe he have found a spot in an NHL roster, maybe night in, night out? Perhaps, but we'll never know. Pony Carter says, TJ, who's the crustier boomer, Grump or Butch? Butch definitely is, no doubt in my mind. Pony Curtis also says, is Barzal a top 10 center in the NHL?
Yes.
I'd say so.
Yes.
I'd say so. Yeah.
I was thinking for a second. Yes.
He also says here, who had the best contract? Former Met Bob. I'm not sure what that is.
Maybe Bobby Bonilla, maybe, right?
Yeah, maybe. JG says, TJ, that's not true. Many of our color commentators do the same exact thing that Butch does.
Right, which I pointed out earlier. That's their job, is to be homers. But man, you're really stretch. What do they say? Like in a movie, you have to have suspension of disbelief a little bit to kind of say, oh yeah, that makes a movie good, even though it's kind of ridiculous. You have to have that suspension of disbelief. Man, Butch is saying some shit that I'm sorry. It just strains all credulity altogether. Like last night, well, if Sorokin had made that save, it would have been tied. I'm like, dude, we just got 2 goals, the 2 flukiest goals within 18 seconds of one another. And you're talking about him missing that? Oh, stop. Please.
You want to know, speaking of players who have underperformed, but I wouldn't mind rolling the dice at, you think Alex Turcotte is in bad graces with the Kings?
What would you give up for Alex Turcotte?
5th overall pick, 21 years old, has only played 8 games in the NHL.
That wasn't my question. What would you give up for him? I'd trade Simon Holmstrom for him.
Oh, yeah, he's an analytics machine. I trade Holmstrom immediately for Alex Turcotte.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely. Michael Boucher also says Barzal, Sorokin, and Dobson are the only bright spots on this team.
He's close.
Yeah. Joseph C said, speaking of the Mighty Ducks, I watched the first season of the Netflix series, and it was good. Oh, wow, they must have that. I couldn't watch season 2 without Emilio Estevez, though.
Oh, so Emilio Estevez was in the first season and not in the second? Why the hell? This guy needs the money. Why the hell would he back out on the series? He hasn't had an acting gig since like 1996.
Grumpy, did you want up watching the Danbury Thrashers? Pony Boy always asks us. I haven't watched it yet either. It's on the list. I'm not going to lie. I got a whole bunch of Christmas movies on the list right now, too, because it is the season. And Brock Nelson is also a reason to be optimistic. Yeah, I agree with that. Brock Nelson's a bright spot. Yes, absolutely.
Shooting the puck, he's been better. Defensively, he's not been as good this year. He's been kind of invisible as well recently.
Fashing 27, says Drew L. John Smith said the forward group is stale. So boring to watch. 32nd strength of schedule. Dead last. Easiest strength of schedule so far this year. Holy shit.
That's really bad news for us.
I would believe so. But hey, I'm willing to withhold judgment until what I see over this month of December. Yeah.
Until Christmas, till 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Next 3 weeks, Grumpy. Okay. You put him a Curtis, Grumpy.
Also, Grump, I wanted to hear you. I wanted to tell you that you are soft for not wearing Islanders gear in Dallas. You're softer than Bailey and Holmstrom. I don't have a whole lot of Islanders gear, Pony Boy Curtis. So what, you think I should have bought it just to go to a game? I don't need to do that. I don't need to wear a jersey to prove anything.
Who had the best?
You want to know why? Because I was yelling "Go Islanders" around all those. I shut all those Dallas fans up. Every freaking one of them. Every one of them. I had them all. They were looking at the grumpy old man like he was the Messiah.
Yeah, I was worried because Grumpy Old Man is over there and we got drunk fans over there. Grumpy Old Man is trying to stir up the crowd. I'm like, Grump, you're not going to be able to back up any of these words. So I'm going to have to.
So what? So what? So what? I wasn't wearing my Islanders jersey. They're too drunk to see me. Who cares? I was standing up and yelling at them. They're all sitting on their little hands over there in Dallas.
Cutchet Revenge said, who had the best contract, former Met, Bobby Bonilla or Rick DiPietro?
Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla.
That's the best contract ever.
Joseph C. said, the Rangers are struggling mightily defensively. Trouba sucks. Miller has regressed, Keandre Miller. Schneider and Jones are not NHL ready. Drury needs to find defense.
He's a crappy GM.
Yeah, he's
a
struggling.
Crappy GM.
I think,
what a mistake they made getting rid of Norton.
And just as he brought the team from the depths of despair. Yeah. Rich Rosenkrantz. What's up, Rich? He says Fasching needs a shot with Barzal and Wallstrom. He's playing like he wants to be there.
He is. That does not mean that he deserves a shot on the first line. What does it tell you about our team? Hey,
don't have any talent.
You show like you want to play? Put him on the first line with Matt Barzal. It just tells you how bad our offense is.
I worry our offense is just yikes bad. Yikes bad, Grumpy. Got a comment there from John S. They're saying Fasching is another bottom six guy. Yep, and we lack star power. Absolutely.
We lack talent. We lack talent.
Fasching has played well so far. He has jump. Exactly. He's exactly what you want in the bottom six guy. Punny Curtis says, serious question, Grumpy. Would you extend Josh Bailey for a $2.5 million AAV for another 3 years?
That's not a serious question, first of all. I know you know better than that. He's just trying to get me aggravated. I've had such a bad. It's been.
Well, he did say, "What's the max AAV you would sign Josh Bailey back for to extend his contract?"
Nothing.
You wouldn't even give him vet minimum. If he took vet minimum, you would say no, thank you.
Nothing. He's in his 30s. Do you give any contract extension to guys? What have I been saying for 10 years, TJ? To you, you do not sign guys who are in their 30s to long-term deals. You don't sign them at all. A guy like Bailey. I made an example for Parise because he's a 35-point-a-year player. He's really good. He's less than a half a point a game player. So, yeah, we can sign him back every year. How many of those guys can you have on your team? How many points does Bailey have this year?
Bailey, Grumpy says.
I mean, how many points is just for shits and giggles, Bailey has 8 points in 23 games. 8. And he's played on the first line. 8
and on the power
points. And on the power play, 8 points. 8. Think of that. 8. How many? He's got 4 goals this year. He's got 32 shots. So here's the thing. They're giving him shots that he ain't taking. Probably passes that went and the goalie kicked out of the way before they got to the guy, so they call it a shot.
John Smith said, Holmstrom hasn't been bad, just yet another bottom sixer. Grinder who has shown zero offense. I was supposed to say he's bottom six guy.
He's not even a grinder, though. He's not a grinder. That means you have to go into the corners.
His skill set does not fit that of a bottom six guy, but yeah. Grumpy spot on. He knows his gliders. There it is.
That's him, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. How can you call there Holmstrom a grinder? He's not touched the boards yet.
That's what I said. Yeah, he's not. He doesn't do that.
D-Cut says Andy's a hack. No,
he's a hack.
No, he's not.
That's what D-Cut says.
Driel says, nobody cares about your stupid wager, TJ. Let's talk about how much you love Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Alvin Kamara, Andy Dalton, and Jarvis Landry. Drew L., I'm gonna murder you, Drew. I'm gonna murder you. Shay says here, Atu Ratu hasn't played since November the 20th. I believe he's a non-COVID related sickness, but hopefully he's good and plays on Saturday. But this is the thing. He'll probably play Friday against the Devils. Think about this. Hasn't played again since November 20th. So about 2.5, 3 weeks. And they're going to say, here you go. Welcome to playing the best team in the NHL. Whoop. Hey, here's the second best team with the Devils. Whoop. It doesn't help them be successful. It does not help a player like that be successful.
No.
Frank, what's up? How are you doing? Freedom Fun Adventure says, without getting distracted or going off on a tangent, please, both of you guys, give 3 to 5 things you want to see Lou do.
3 to 5 things? Okay, here's
3.
number 1. Hand in your resignation, Lou. That's the first thing you should do. Everything else is the moot point. If you do what you're supposed to, hand in your resignation.
Don't trade away draft picks this year at the deadline.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Re-sign back Ilya Sorokin. Avoid the Christmas rush. Re-sign him back now. And number 3, do not let this guy have any access to the nuclear codes to make any sort of transactions. Make him just like a freaking figurehead. Bring in a young general manager that's going to learn under him for half of the season, maybe not a whole half of the season, and then after Lou's contract expires this year, bye-bye Lou Lamoriello. That's best case scenario.
And also, I'm going to throw in a couple other caveats. Trade Scott Mayfield and Semyon Varlamov.
Okay. Tony Shee says that's like $20 per letter, man. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't be, man, this, that. What are you, crazy? What are you going to do? Write some type of suicide note on the back or something?
Frank said, just talk about Portugal, baby. It's our year. You know what? It's going to be your year if you put Cristiano back in.
No.
If not, get bad things to come.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Tony Shee
maybe
said,
Andy can loan you some of his Days of Our Lives royalties for the purchasing of a jersey.
Very gracious. JG says, Islanders, who are they?
Oh, a slightly above average team.
Yeah. Islanders, best bottom 6 on the top 6 in the league.
There you go. That's very accurate.
Frank says, and how the F is 24 Mayfield gave up the first 2 goals all on him. You suck on offense, Scott. Stop it.
Yeah. Okay. Those Romanov was terrible yesterday.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Romanov's so out of position that Mayfield starts trying to do things that he should not be doing, which takes him out of position. It's all Romanov.
It's all Romanov.
Oh,
man. Everybody says here, I don't understand in any capacity the obsession with Fashing. What a scrub. He's an AHLer.
That's what he is. He's an AHLer. They have a couple of good games, where they hustle, they skate real hard, they hit everybody. Everybody loves them. But that's their skill set.
Yeah, that's it. And got a comment here. Holmstrom looks like one of those stereotypical cartoon bullies from the 2000s and 1990s.
Actually, he looks more like the guy who's getting bullied.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Mikey Bomber says A-Rod was always better than Judge.
Way better. Way better. And that's what it says. Was way better than Judge. There's not even a comparison. A-Rod was probably one of the top 5 players in the history of the game. Just talent-wise that he had. Aaron Judge is sorry.
I'm going to read you a question, Grumpy, and I want you to close your eyes.
All right. Do I have to close my eyes?
Close your eyes, Grumpy.
Okay,
yes. Okay. Grumpy, if another YouTube show wanted to trade with you for a show producer equally as good at working the tech side, but could read new things, didn't eat toxic food, was punctual, how much would you be willing to give up for this individual?
I'm like Lou Lamoriello. To be honest with you, I would never throw TJ away. Never. Without TJ,
that's the reason why I've got a job at the Bridgeport. You can call me. You can call me, I guess.
You're
Fredo.
Fredo. You're the Fredo of this podcast.
Michael Boucher said Simon Holmstrom is a bust. Send him back to the farm.
I think that's
I'm not ready to say that yet.
I
but
think he's being very generous with Simon Holmstrom, just calling him a bust.
Frank says, is Pelech bad? Concussion? Yeah, I think he's got a concussion.
We don't know, but it didn't look good. I'm good. Whoa. Yeah.
He about fell standing up to a few times. He looked like maybe he's a little woozy.
He saw blue coming at him and he fell backwards. Whoa.
Mikey Bomber says, thoughts on the Islanders so far this season? We'll keep it short. Fantastic goaltending. Lack of defensive awareness in our own zone. I think we have outperformed what my original expectations were against what was a weak part of this, what was a really weak schedule, which I was not aware of. And I'm concerned about the next month.
For me, I think I'd give us probably a B for the season. TJ, you cannot dismiss how well they played against good teams, regardless of the injuries or whatever early in the year when we beat Colorado, the Rangers a couple of times, Carolina. Those were
the Rangers suck ass. We found out the Rangers are awful so far to start this year.
Okay, but there's still wins against teams that made the playoffs last year. I thought the Devils' loss was terrible, but it turned out it wasn't. They're just better than us. So I give us a B. The goaltending's been an A, a solid A. I'm not going to say A+, but I'll say a solid A. I think Dobson's been really good. Barzell's been exceptional. But you're seeing that with the exception of a couple of players in the lineup, we're just an average team. And it's time to move on from those guys. Sorry.
Look at this. Point Curtis sent this to us. Here he is. Do you know who this guy is, this naked guy, Grumpy?
No, I do not.
It's Randy from Trailer Park Boys, Grumpy. Look at that.
My God, who cares?
Yeah, Randy from Trailer Park Boys. I liked it. He sent a few pictures, Grumpy. That was a good one.
All right, we can skip these, can't we?
Hold on, Grumpy.
Who cares?
I feel like you would like this one. He's got. Oh, you don't like that, Grumpy, with little Randy? His little protruding gut there.
You know what? You cut me off from comments to put shit like that on. Really?
Worst contract: Aaron Judge or Russell Wilson? It's got to be
Russell Wilson. It's worse.
Oh, good gracious. Agree, grumpy old man. No trades by Lou. Like when Toronto did the same thing.
Yeah, can't do it. How about Toronto?
They played well. Remember everybody was saying, oh, yeah, he's going to get fired. Dubas is going to be out. He's going to get fired because they're off to such a shitty start. Well, they're 7-0-3 in their last 10 games. They're on a 10-game point streak.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
Same amount of games as us, 6 more points.
Yeah, pretty decent. Pretty decent. And a tougher division, I'd say. Just solely because of Boston. Drew L says, yep, damn, Tage Thompson has more goals than Jason Robertson.
Jason Robertson's been outstanding for Dallas this year.
They both have, Tage Thompson, Robertson, both have played great.
Talk about a guy who does not get the credit he deserves.
Jason Robertson.
And it's because he plays in
Dallas.
Yep, plays in Dallas.
Disappointing for him. Rich R said, Grumpy, very rarely do I disagree, but we're 2 scores away from relevancy. Deadline will cost us a pick or 2. What do you like, Rich? If you think at what we're going to trade there, if we had to get a real score and not a guy who's like a defensively responsible, two-way guy who maybe scores like 30 points a year, it's going to cost us a first plus some. If we wanted the big name guy at the deadline, it's going to cost us a first and a second, then maybe some additionally. I just look at a first and a second for Jean-Gabriel Pageau, third line center, a first round pick for Kyle Palmieri. We do not win the trade deadline deals ever.
I'm willing to make a deal if you want to include a Bavillier, you want to move a Nelson.
You're not going to move Nelson.
I'm just saying I'm willing to do that if you're going to get a young piece that's going to be with you for a while. But if it's like another guy who's in his 30s on expiring contract, absolutely not.
Sal P. Grumpy, look at that fantastic shirt. Absolute mad lad, Grumpy. Look at him. He's an absolute giga Chad with his Maddie and the Jag shirt. You can find that at the Etsy store of the Islanders Never Say Die shops. You can find that in other merchandise. I know Grumpy and I are not wearing any today, but you can find at their merchandise store. But Grumpy, go ahead.
Good evening, fellas. The problem last night was, and pretty often, is that we come out of the gate skating well and carrying the play, but we don't ever score early and take control of the game. Instead, the opposition scores and all the wind comes out of our sails. Will we ever get help up front? No.
Not the help we need.
We will never get help up front, ever.
Rich R. Grumpy, it's still Garth's team.
Very true. Very true.
Michael B says, been catching up on replays lately. So happy Thanksgiving and happy belated birthday, Grumpy.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Absolutely. Parise is doing well for what he is. What does he have? Like 8 or 9 goals. He's played well for his role. He's a bottom 6 guy, but he's done a good job. But we've got so many of the bottom 6 guys. Big time 28, Grumpy.
Okay, here's the thing. Bottom 6 guys don't blow up my skirt. Sorry.
Yep.
Big time 28 says, I see the Islanders really struggling going forward. They are too old. Lou has failed us.
Shay said 15 games since the last goal for Anders Lee.
Yeah, like I said, that's why everyone said, oh, Anders Lee, so good. No, he's been dog shit for the majority of the time. He had a couple of empty netters, a couple of
tapping goals.
Yeah, he just is what he is. At least Nelson's kept it up a little bit. He's had his share of I think he's had a couple empty netters too. Even if he hasn't, I'm going to say he has anyway, so it doesn't matter. But he's been shooting the puck more, just not holding it, just shooting it, which has benefited him.
By the way, Anders Lee's not scored in over a month. Over a month since the last time he's put a puck in the net. Speaking of Pelech, I don't know if it's because they're forcing him to shoot, but it doesn't feel like his offense got better since Lane Lambert took over.
He's not an offensive player.
Drew S. said, our worst fears are coming true. And I think you're 100% right. This team will be barely fighting for a playoff spot, and Lou will double down on this team and not change a damn thing. That's the worst case scenario.
That is worst case scenario. Yes.
Yep. Pleasantries out of the way. Every time they ice an Islanders lineup, it feels like Lane Lambert has already thrown his hands up saying, well, let's see what happens tonight. He does often kind of mix shit up. He goes to the blender quite often, early and often, Grump.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard, though, because it's the same guys who've been there forever. He's trying to squeeze blood from a turnip. Just not going to happen.
Big Time 28 says, I see the Islanders struggling going forward. They're too old. Lou has failed the team and fans.
True. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what about the fans, but it's the team.
CJ says, Timo Meyer, please.
There we go. Timo Meyer, please.
Open Ranger Red Grumpy. Holmstrom needs more time in Bridgeport. Some players come up to the NHL and fit right away. Holmstrom isn't one of them.
He needs just to go home back to Sweden.
Andrew L. said, Pelech is a pretty solid attacker.
Skater.
I'm sorry, skater. Jesus H. Sorry.
Yeah, his skating has regressed a little bit the last couple of years. He started getting walked around the tail end of 2 years ago.
You're Grumpy. Drew L.
The problem with us is none of our games have went to overtime minus like 2, and both were wins. It's actually been 3. All of our losses have been in regulation instead of overtime, so we don't have the points for that. That's right. We're not getting loser points.
Here's the other thing. The reason we're not getting loser points is because usually we have such a great third period that we come from behind and win the game in regulation. That's usually the issue.
True.
CJ says, people used to say that we shouldn't trade Bellows, that he was going to be a top scoring player. We could have traded him in for the deal, for a deal for Duchesne a few seasons ago, or a player that was a top goal scorer.
The whole thing is he was never given a legitimate shot here. That's the only problem I have. You should have, what did I say last year, TJ, when it was so obvious that this team was going nowhere? Bench all the vets, play all the young guys, see who has a potential to be part of the solution going forward. They refused to do it, so you didn't know. If you could have found out last year that Bellows was not going to be an option, you move him in the offseason. You don't even sign him back. Instead, we wait and wait and wait and wait. It's just frustrating. You could tell when the season's over. Last year was over by Thanksgiving. It was over. Just freaking over.
Frank said, I like Bellows. He's easily better than Simon Holmstrom.
Does it even matter?
Tim Ward said, Mayfield was responsible for the 2-on-1 goals against.
Well, the one time the puck hopped over his stick.
Yeah.
And that's the one where Romanov wouldn't commit one way or the other, either go for the shooter, which he never should do, or just protect against the pass. He did neither and wound up letting the guy drive down low and still gave up the pass for a goal.
CJ says, Timo, sad, scary thing is many people are saying the Devils or the Rangers could or should trade for Meyer. Even people saying that Columbus should get Timo Meyer. Ugh, I don't know how that would work for either of those teams. I don't know the cap situation.
I don't think the Rangers have the money, do they?
I don't think so either, unless they're sending away some players tied up with some big money. Gungun says, which team has let their fans down the most in recent times? The Mets, Jets, or the Islanders?
When it comes to negativity, who could ever be more negative than the Jets?
Yeah, that's true. CJ says here, I can't stand that freaking floater, Lou. He's just a piece of shit, aka a floater left in the toilet water for hours after someone had diarrhea and just sitting in the water, stinking up the room. That's very vivid. Very vivid.
Very true. Got little air pockets in the poop there. Keep it floating.
Christ almighty. Frank says the Islanders need a new general manager. Lou will make bad trades and destroy our future even more. That's
very possible.
Jungun says it feels like just a matter of time. It feels like just a matter of time until they're 4th or 5th place and the Rangers jump over the Islanders.
Well, we're in 4th place now.
Carcass.
We're in 4th place now.
Yeah. She just says, if Lou gets Timo Meyer, I'll give him credit.
Yeah, what if he gives up 3 number 1 draft picks and Noah Dobson? And Matt Barzal.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man, I'll tell you. And Gugun says here, TJ, would you accept a trade of my Timo Perez rookie card for your rookie card?
Tomorrow, we're going to get the unveiling of the Lastings Millage card.
Here's the thing. I had a lot more Lastings Millage cards than I remember. I had quite a few Lastings Millage rookie cards and cards in general. I was like, ooh, it was nice to look back on and see. Who could be our general manager if Lou's fired? Top 5 candidates. Can't tell you yet because there's a lot of moving that still needs to be done. A young general manager from one of the teams that are dominant in the NHL, aka Hurricanes, Tampa, Florida, things of that nature.
There's a comment I want to put up from Drew L. It's so perfect.
How far down is it, Grumpy?
It's above where you were. It says Phil is literally just your average Twitter scout GM.
Oh.
What a slam to Phil of Phil's facts.
No, come on.
I'm just saying, I didn't say it. Drew did, not me.
I'm trying to keep. We're trying to keep everything around 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay, but you're gonna show picture after picture of some fat bastard who was in Trailer Park Boys, right? Again, those are the type of things I'm saying. You got to cut me off on something that's actually pretty interesting to show those clowns. Stop.
Grumpy, he's not a fat bastard. Randy's a skinny guy, Grump.
Really?
Yeah. What are you complaining about, Grumpy? Okay. I mean, this doesn't strike you as skinny?
He makes me look skinny. Okay, next comment. Just get to the comments.
Okay. TG, just take a look at the standings. Take Detroit out, but there's still one team that won't make the playoffs. This is what Paulo says. So which one won't make the playoffs? Who? The Rangers, Pittsburgh, Florida? And it could be us.
I think Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs.
I think so too. Yep. We always are not. We're not even looking at damn Washington, but whatever. Tommy B says Varlamov.
Washington is playing 500 hockey since the first time since the beginning of November.
Yeah. Their schedule's really tough, and now it's starting to get a little easier. Tommy B says Varlamov will probably get hurt wearing the fisherman jersey Saturday. Don't put that a bad juju on them, Tommy B.
Tommy Baffy is one of those guys who think the jersey has something to do with a team wins or loses.
No, he doesn't think that.
He absolutely does.
No, he does not. He just doesn't like the jersey. Him and many others just don't like the jersey. We can't go down that trail because we only got limited time, Grumpy. JG says the NHL should exploit the rivalries.
True.
Ariel C, Grumpy.
When Palmieri is healthy, there's zero reason to keep Bailey in the lineup. Put Palmieri on the first line, no. With Barzy and Wally, and keep Wallstrom on the third with Pazzo and Parise. No. Holmstrom's Holmstrom should never be in the lineup, and never freaking ever.
The analytics look good though, Grump, against shitty teams.
Yeah, he sucks.
Goon Grumpy.
Grumpy, what do you think ever happened to the Gimp after his memorable scene in Pulp Fiction? I think he choked to death. He got knocked out and he was hanging, and I think that he choked out. What about Zed? What do you think happened to Zed? That's the bigger question.
Drill said, guys, let's calm down for a second. We already have our supposed next general manager. Fredo, baby.
Fredo.
CJ says, we need scoring now. How can anyone on our team administration just
Where's
sit
freaking
there?
Al Neary? Where's Al Neary when you need him? That's what I want to say. Where's Al Neary? He took care of Fredo.
Oh, gosh. Watching us have the same issue for seasons now, and Lou has done jack shit to address it 100%.
It's not a surprise.
Tony Chi says, we cannot allow Phil's ego to go unchecked. He's turning into a monster.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. He's being ridiculous.
Is this because you got your Twitter account? You got on Twitter now, Grumpy?
No, every once in a while, like I said, I get these notifications, but I don't look at them because you say as soon as I look at them, they go away.
If somebody sends me a message, yes. When you look at it, I do not get the notification will go away from me. Yes.
Well, here's the thing. I don't look at them because I don't comment on anything. I'm not allowed. TJ won't let me. So I don't even look at them. But I've seen Phil's name and just some inane comments. I think I even said, what the hell? What is wrong with Phil? I think that's what I said to TJ. What is wrong with Phil?
JG says, Fredo makes me afraido.
Makes me afraido.
Ariel C says, not sure what type of structure Lane Lambert has, but very similar to Doug Wade days. We just have stellar goaltending now. It's not sustainable. Exactly.
True.
I agree, Ariel. Yep. Nets tried everything they could to blow that 20-point lead, but they just held on.
They hope to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Puerto Curtis says, what other NHL teams have an assistant captain that is occasionally / a regular healthy scratch besides the Islanders? None.
Talking about Bailey. That
good question.
Dog.
I was going to say, when everybody's healthy and if Bailey's a healthy scratch, you got to strip them of the assistant captaincy, right?
You want to know who else gets stripped of the captaincy is average. Give it to Matt Barzal.
I'll let you read this one, Grumpy.
I was thinking today, that's from Goon Goon. I was thinking today about how absurd it is that the Islanders have not finished first in their division since 1988. Read that correctly. 1988. Heck, the sucky Jets have finished first a few times since then. 1988. 34 years ago. 34 years ago.
Well,
they haven't won a division for 34 years. That's when I say, what have the Islanders won under Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
What is it good?
Frank K said, unfortunately, Soderstrom didn't know how to cop with his Asperger's syndrome. Yeah, that was the thing. He had I remember he had posted the best save percentage out of anybody in the Swedish Hockey League.
He had the shoulder injuries too.
Yeah, well, he had a lot of injury. It's just tough for him. I wanted him to be good too. Grumpy, another comment here for you.
Who did a livelier expert job of drafting, Lazy Lou or John Idzik? I'll say Idzik, only because I think Lou's been abominable.
TJ, you're painful, says Frank. Thank you. I don't know what I'm painful about, but I'm painful about something. Grump, 5-year extension for Bailey, league minimum AAV. Do you do it?
No.
Sorry, guys. I made a mistake earlier. Pelech being out. We might relive the 2020 season. Oh, we did. When Pelech was out with the Achilles in 2020, we did struggle heavily, if you do recall.
Yes, but then he came back when we went to the bubble, right?
We were on a 7-game losing streak and out of the playoff picture,
right,
in 2020. Okay, but I'd have to trade Anders Lee in a package deal for Timo Meier. Honestly, fuck. If you trade away Anders Lee and got Timo Meier back in return, sign me up.
Who wouldn't do that? Oh, actually, San Jose wouldn't do that.
Shay said she's stressed, but good. How about you? Pony Curtis says, TJ, look up the word lapidary definition. Grump, educate him on the new nickname for one of our scrubs.
I don't know which guy you're talking about or which of the scrubs, so I don't know. I'll have to think something else.
It stands for relating to stone or gems and the work involved in engraving, cutting, or polishing. So I guess he's got that stone chin.
He must be talking about what's his name? Holmstrom. Okay.
The Devils will smoke us, says Frank.
They will kill us.
Yep.
They're good.
27 points in 25 games. Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
There you go, Grumpy. Coming from Goon Goon.
Something I've learned is that you're either the Mets or the Islanders have an easy upcoming schedule, automatic multiple farts, or thuds immediately follow.
CJ says here, Timo Meyer and Bo Horvat becoming Islanders this season would be epic. I'm okay moving Lee, Bavillier, Bailey, Holmstrom, plus draft picks and some prospects not named raw to it.
Okay. All right, CJ. I'm going to try to explain to you this is not fantasy hockey. We can ram trades through where you got people who are just stupid on the other end. Who would want Lee, Bavillier, Bailey, or Holmstrom at all? They have no value. None. Bailey has less than no value. Holmstrom has even less than that. Here's the thing. Simon Holmstrom makes Josh Bailey look like Wayne freaking Gretzky. That's how bad he is. Bavillier, he needs a change of scenery. Andersley, he's average. He's really close to below average now. He's right at the Mendoza line. You know what I mean?
Freedom Fun Adventure says, you guys whiffed not pronouncing Skarek and E.T. Liukis compared to Tikkanen as serious candidates. Pavanka likely is Zizekas' replacement.
He's never going to play. They're never going to play.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch any Bridgeport games to know what Jakob Skarek's played like, and E2 Liukis is. I saw he put up a few more points this year than in the past, but again, he's one of those bottom six guys. Shay said the dogs were from when they had the dog calendar photo shoot. Grumpy.
There you go. Very nice.
Another comment there. Goon Goon Grumpy.
Will the Islanders trade for that old fart from the Blackhawks? I hope not. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if Lollipop Lickin' Lou trades Sorokin for him. Now, that would be even worse, trading Sorokin, too. Even he wouldn't do that.
Goon gets a Godfather question there for you,
Grumpy. Did Santino Corleone come close to surviving the vicious gun assault at the Tone Booth? Okay, I'm just going to say, now, I've never been shot, but I've seen people been shot, and you know what they don't do? They don't get shot multiple times and stand up and run around and scream. They don't do that. That's a movie trick. You get shot, you usually fall down right away. And you get hit with machine gun fire. Yeah, not happening. Massacred my boy.
If we're talking about Russell Wilson, and since Geno Smith had a solid year, this has to do something with Pete Carroll being a good coach for quarterbacks.
I think the success of Geno Smith is definitely a feather in Pete Carroll's cap.
Absolutely. Yep. Frank Hay says Jack Hughes is better than Matt Barzal at the moment.
Yeah, he's surrounded with better talent. See, that's what people forget. He's surrounded by better talent. Look who Matt Barzal's playing with. Simon freaking Holmstrom, Josh Bailey. These are guys who he plays with. Not only on the team, they're on his line.
Pony Curtis says, when I die, please chisel my tombstone with Simon Holmstrom's chin. Okay. There it is. Shay, look at that one, Grumpy. Look at Adam Pelech. Oh, my gosh.
No comment on that one.
He says Barzal is not a good goal scorer. He's a playmaker. We are not
okay.
Goals.
He didn't say is not a good goal. She didn't say is not a good goal scorer. Is not a goal scorer. Not a good goal, just a goal scorer. He's a playmaker.
We're not paying him to score goals. He's there to make plays.
And he does it. If we had better players up front, this kid might have 50 points already.
D-Cut says, Ovechkin up to 795 goals. I'm rooting for him to beat the Great One. The Great One's record. Pony Bird says, y'all didn't see Ishikov fell off? He had a crazy burst of points, and he kind of sputtered out. I know he had like 4 or 3 points recently in a game. I don't know. I don't watch any of those Bridgeport games at all. I just can't. It's so much we do. I can't watch that too. Goon Goon says here, sorry to keep lumping Mets, Jets, and Islanders together, but how many games have they all three gifted us where they launch an improbable comeback against insurmountable odds before the sledgehammer meets the testes?
I'd say the Jets this year against the Patriots, both games gave them away at the end. Gave them away.
Tammy Duncan for Josh Bailey now. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I'd do that.
MSG needs to give Butch and the lollipop killed Brenton Kirk 10 games off and let the grumpy old man call games. Now that would be hilarious.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't last a period. Actually, no, I would. But it would be a period. Then they'd replace me. It'd be like where they try to drag, like in Network, where they try to drag Howard Beale off the set. Like, hey, get away from me! And they dragging him off. Go to commercial.
But Curtis says, Grumpy, what do you think? Do you think Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish?
I do think he has a foot fetish.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, that's what Tony Rocky Horror said.
My gosh, Grump took it so personal. It took it mad personal when I called him soft. That's the ass off. Shay says
that means you're trying to call me Josh Bailey.
Oh man. Grumpy, another comment there, Shay, for you.
I'm a prospect hugger, and my favorite Mets prospect got traded to the frickin' Marlins. I'm not okay or happy. I think the Mets, I don't know who, they're starting to have some movement finally in Major League Baseball.
The Mets made a big mistake. Anyway.
Let me ask you a question. If you're the Mets, Cody Bellinger could play outfield, can he?
Yeah.
Why would you not take a flyer on him? 1 year, $15 million with the Cubs. Why do you not? Your outfield is terrible, and you don't take a flyer on Cody Bellinger?
Why not take a flyer on the guy from Japan? The elite star.
The guy in Japan going to cost you a lot more than Cody Bellinger.
Okay. You're looking to freaking compete, Cohen, you cheap bastard.
I'm saying a guy who won MVP in 2018. He struggled last couple of years, had some injuries. 1 year, $15 million. Maybe you wouldn't have to trade for Darian Ruff or Vogelback, the Silverback.
Pony Curtis says Phil's obsession with fashion is concerning.
Got problems. Yeah. Phil's got problems.
Okay. Trying to get here to Nick D said, yeah, that's right. Don't forget to smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Hit the like button. Apparently it helps the algorithm. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. Ponyboy also says here, yeah, TJ, you're right. Simon Holmstrom is a bottom six guy, great third liner on an ECHL team.
There you go.
Frank K said John McClellan, next coach of the Islanders. McLean, sorry, next coach of the Islanders. McLean, next coach of the Islanders, with Richard and McKay as assistant coaches.
He's trying to say it's either Richer and McKay. Stephane Richer.
Rick Roma, Grump.
Severson is the last Lou Lamoriello draft pick still on the Devils. How long before he's an Islander? Pretty soon, probably.
Nick D said,
so you're saying England has a chance. Andy, if you're listening, I have to disagree. France has that game in the bag. I think FIFA is going to fix it so Messi and CR7 face each other in the final. Okay, that's not going to happen because I think Argentina is going to lose to the Netherlands on Friday. And I think Brazil, it doesn't matter. Brazil's beating everybody. Then it'll be France, and Portugal will beat Morocco with Cristiano Ronaldo coming off the bench.
Drew L. Grumpy.
And you can just book those predictions. If you think about it, Romanoff is just a younger Chara, and Mayfield is like Dobson. Oh my gosh, no. Mayfield is always trying to play two positions because Romanov not knowing fundamental positioning. True in that respect, yes. Romanov he's not been as good as advertised. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Islanders, JJ says, Islanders can be a good team if they get a good scoring winger. I know it's obvious, but it's true. I mean, Bo Horvat.
And Joseph C says, if TJ is the Fredo of the podcast, does that make you Lou Grumpy?
Yes, it does.
Damn. So you're Lou Lamoriello.
Yeah.
It's kind of shitty.
A better version of Lou, though.
D-Cut says, TJ saying the Rangers suck ass is okay, but me calling that bald-headed jerk nutless isn't?
It's not okay.
D-Cut. Paulo C. Grumpy.
Yes, Grumpy. Bailey is done. I'd rather have a young player called up to take his spot, making full of mistakes than a finished old player. take his spot, making full of mistakes than an old player. Just get rid of him, please, even if it's for nothing. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. After this year, he's got one more year left on the contract, so his will be ending soon. Islanders JJ says Romanov needs to fix some of the issues because that trade is not looking great so
He's
far.
still young, but I don't think he has hockey sense, and his position is just terrible. It's just terrible.
He goes ahead and pays a second mortgage in the penalty box because he lives in that damn place.
You know who else does? Anders Lee has way more penalties taken than he has goals this year.
Really?
Yeah.
How many penalties do you have?
Hold on, I can let you know because they're all minors. 15 penalties.
Wow.
Yeah.
He had no fights?
I don't know if he did or not.
I don't know. I'm sure he's got so many. I don't know how many penalties he's got. I'll look up later. But McGregor says, imagine if 5 years from now we're elite and stacked offensively and bankrupt defensively and goaltending. How funny would that be?
It'd be hilarious.
Really, would it? I know you're getting a little tired, Grumpy. You're ready.
I am tired, dude. I've been so busy the last few days, and I got home like 2 hours later than I should have today, battling rain, traffic, insanity, morons. So difficult.
D-Cut says here, Bellows is a KHL player. D-Cut called it 2 years ago. And he says, ban Philfax. No, we don't ban anybody. Al's JJ says, Islander fans expect way too much from the bottom two lines. You look at every other team's bottom lines, they're horrible.
Your first two lines are supposed to be your best lines. And with the salary cap, you just kind of fill in. They don't get a lot of minutes. It's the only team where they're right. Islander fans always think that third liner is the way to go. They're not. That's why we don't win anything. Why we haven't won a division title since 1988. Think about that.
My God.
That's when I got married. That's when I got married was 1988. Think about that.
Damn.
The Islanders haven't won a division title since I got married. Does that mean if I get a divorce, they'll win a division title? I don't know.
Grumpy, let the warden know that it's just going to be strictly for testing.
It's her fault. It's the warden's fault.
That's the reason why.
Yes.
The warden Islanders have struggled a big time, and I've noticed that every year under our marriage, it's been like that. We got to change something up, warden. Paulo C said, the thing I don't understand is what is the use of having a bunch of old players if you know for sure you won't win the cup? You'd rather want to rebuild with young players. At least there will be a future.
You know what? I'm not going to say I hate it when people just parrot the shit that I've been saying for the last 2 years, because it vindicates everything I said. It was so obvious 2 years ago, the same thing was going to happen. Should have started the transition, didn't want to do it. And I understand, but it's nice to see people come around to my way of thinking.
Tommy says, TJ, tell the grumpy old man my fisherman jersey comments are called sarcasm. I heard, Grumpy, the fish. I just want to hear the Islander fans.
I think that
I would love that. I hope we can hear it in the stadium where they draw no to it. And I will watch the Islanders telecast on Saturday just to hear. Oh shit, we're doing a show. I do want to hear. I do want to hear them talk about the fisherman jerseys, though.
Okay, I think Tommy is one of those conspiracy theorists who think that the jerseys cause teams to lose.
No,
those are the guys he hangs out with.
Punta Curtis says here, TJ, bro, thank you so much for showing my Randy picks, bro. Thank you. You don't know how much it meant to me. Look at that, Grumpy. You didn't like Randy. I enjoyed it. Grump, can you tell us stories about when you were viciously
addicted to cocaine? No, I'm not going to tell those stories.
Joe says losing to the Shuffling Blues at home, fully rested, when they had to play a back-to-back and travel is all you need to see. That this team is going nowhere. Be sellers at the devil. Exactly, Joe. But it's crazy. When we bring up stuff like that, we went 1-2 in our last 3 games. We were all rested every single one of those games, and we were playing teams traveling on the back end of their back-and-back. I'm like, how the hell are we losing games like this?
We have had so many schedule advantages this year. I can't tell you. It's like they made up. Everyone complained about last year how, the schedule is so tough for this, that, the other thing. This year, it's been the exact opposite. The exact opposite. No one can cry about the schedule. We've gotten every freaking break.
Yeah.
We've gotten every team's backup goalie.
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about. Every single one of those games we played, backup goalie, backup goalie, backup goalie.
Yeah.
Matthew S. said, I too absolutely loathe that garish logo. It needs to be used as toilet paper. Talking about the fisherman.
I like the fisherman.
D-Cut Grumpy's got a comment there for you.
Shout out to Isles Misery Rated R. Take it deep, TJ. See, I remembered that from the last time.
There it
Take
is.
it deep, TJ.
Brian J says, new season, same old score, same old story. No scoring. Becoming so sick of management not addressing this.
It's like you're on the merry-go-round to mediocrity. Just on the little hamster wheel.
Yep.
Same old, same old. Wash, rinse, repeat. Shampoo, loo.
Oh, man, oh, man.
You know, there's reasons why I say these little sayings because they're always true.
Joe says,
a reality I could have never imagined just 1 year ago is that the two worst contracts on this team are not Bailey and Lee, but rather maybe Pelech and Pulak. What the hell had happened to those two? Maybe they got a little fat, dumb, and happy, or maybe they just weren't that great.
Could be either one of those, Grump, to be honest.
Maybe it's a combination of the two.
I think that for the most part, when you look at what we've seen from them,
but I said, here's the thing. Another thing I was 100% right on. I said their play dropped off from 2020.
Yeah.
I said you could see that was when they were at their best, 2020, 2019, whatever year it was. They were phenomenal. And you just see them. They've been just kind of tick, and they're sliding down. And here's the thing. They're 28 years old now. Who knows what they're going to be like at 34 and 35.
Don't get me thinking
about that.
Obvious
to me. His thing. I didn't need analytics to tell me any of that. I looked at the ice. I see Pelech getting walked around on a regular basis. Maybe it don't lead to goals, but he's getting walked around. I see Pulak being out of position or making bad passes or him getting walked around, not being defensively aware. Just watch with your eyes, people. You don't need analytics. You don't need Phil's facts to tell you when something's right or wrong because most everything he says is wrong.
Good gracious. It's been too long. We got to get Phil's on. We got to start bringing our guests back on. It's getting around that time. Potomac says, TJ, 5-year league minimum next for Bailey. Are you doing it or no? I'm not. I wouldn't do that. Shay says, TJ, you skipped the comment. Sorry. We've been trying to make sure we can get through all of them or try to get through all of them. She says, you skipped the comment, but it's pronounced Ishakov. Not with the sh. Pronounce it right. No, it's Ishakov. No, I'm pronouncing it the way I want to. He doesn't know how to pronounce his damn name. I know how to pronounce his name. Ruslan Ishakov. I agree. Only a 4-hour podcast start at 7. Then it means, really at 7:30 TJ time.
Very true.
Deckhands, one of your buddies from the OG Eyes on Owls. Oh gosh. Rated Lou's prospects better than Snow.
Morons.
Oh my God.
Whoever says that they're just morons.
It was as ridiculous as it sounds.
I see. You can't even deal with people like that. No common sense. I'm sorry.
My God. Brock Besser for a 4th. Do you do it?
Absolutely.
Oh
Brock Besser for a 4th round pick?
No, they're not going to do that.
They're not going to do it, but I would.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not
Jesus with the Timo Meyer post. People love Timo Meyer.
Well, CJ loves Timo Meyer because he's a red loop and Power Ranger.
TJ, to end off the podcast, show Grumpy what I sent you. Hold on, I'll try to pull it up later. Grumpy's fading out a bit. He's getting tired. We're tired. Long week. I like your assertiveness on Ishakov. Timo Meyer post should be banned on here till it's at least a new year.
No, that's CJ's calling card. Every podcast sends in a comment talking about TJ Meyer. Every single podcast.
Let's read this, dear Duke.
Jay says the Mets don't have outfield depth in upper minors, so trade Magnum doesn't help.
Got another comment here from Pony Boy there, Grumpy.
Can you guys drop the "we try not to curse for the kids" gimmick? F Holmstrom and F the kids too.
This is what, look at this shit. Here's
the thing. We try not to do that because it's just not professional. TJ doesn't care because he's a freaking amateur.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yoshida has no power and is a poor defensive outfielder. They're not paying $18 million per for that.
Well, I'm trying to pay somebody who puts a bat on a ball, and when the freaking Mets don't have that, I'm down for it. Look at
Oh, I like this one.
Christ, fantasy.
Oh, TJ's fantasy team, down goes TJ.
D-Cut says, if
TJ continues to skip Isles Misery Rated R members' comments, he will be banned from the group.
Looky there, angry face. Brian J said the last time the Islanders were contenders, the man represented on Grumpy's T-shirt could still climb over the ropes and not crawl underneath.
Very true. You ever see some of these old wrestlers, like they had Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the old Midnight Express, do their final match, and it's like, oh, damn, fellas. Come on. You see it, and it's just hard to watch.
Pumpercutter said, Grump, you ever see Patrice O'Neal stand up?
Yeah, he's funny as hell.
I love Patrice O'Neal.
Well, he's dead, but he was funny as hell.
Was very funny. That's true. Yeah. Give that.
Really funny.
How do you feel about Roseanne Barr? No, okay, we can't go down these roads. We're wrapping up the show. No
She
more.
was funny.
Yeah,
she was funny. Roseanne Barr was funny, particularly early. She was funny.
88, the division sucked too. Yeah. Lee has 2 fights. Come on, guys. Okay. There. That is Anders Lee. Oh, God. Okay. We're not reading that one. The same as the Stan Fischler jersey that should be draped over your grumpy old man's couch.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm going to be getting a new couch eventually, pretty soon, I think.
There it is. Getting tired of Butch shoehorning and golf references every chance he gets.
Well, he can't shoehorn hockey comments in.
Hamster Wheel to Mediocrity should be a great album name.
Actually, that is a great album name.
There's a report that Vancouver is not asking much for Brock Besser.
Do it.
That's relative, I guess, but hey, I'll do that. To his credit, TJ read the ad very well today.
He did do very well.
It only took about 3 or 4 weeks, and I start getting where I can do it. Anyway, man, we're here. Rick Roma says Timo Meyer wants to be devil so we can play with a Swiss countryman and friend Nico Heischer. Okay. Grump, man, we're here at the end of the show today. What do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show. We'll be going live Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be probably at the end of the first period of the Islanders game against the Hurricanes. So hopefully it won't be too out of hand by that point. But we'll know how we played against the Boston Bruins, is it the Bruins?
The Devils.
The Devils. We're going to know how we play against the Devils, how we play against the Hurricanes. We'll be watching that live. But until then, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you had a great hump day. I hope you got a great Thursday and Friday. We'll see you tomorrow on TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Link in the description below, or as a featured page on our YouTube channel. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, 9 p.m. TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Thank you again, as always, Grumpy.
My pleasure.